Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another exciting Thursday night 2-5 no limit hold'em game at Texas Cardinals Houston. It's DT in the booth. Tonight I'm joined by a special new guest commentator, Alex. How you doing tonight, Alex?
Great, man. Good to be here.
All right. Right into the action. We have Tropicana with Kings and Suited and MF with Jacks. Two normal poker hands, not unusual. Some of the hands we see in these games are much different.
Where'd you get those glasses
I believe they're straddling the whole everybody's straddling. So we have it.
The lights are right out here.
Getting out flop, go to King 10.
Where are these supposed to light
Not
up?
controlling. I think it's going to be hard for Tropicana to get a little bit of
scan that card.
value from this.
But if it's not, everybody don't scan that card.
Very comfortable.
So it's like a
Solid.
signal.
I feel like he's the person that's most likely to get a massage at the table.
Oh yeah, good question. Star.
Do you ever get a massage?
Not at the table. I've gotten maybe 2 or 3 times overall, and very enjoyable, but also very restrictive in terms of being able to reach the chips to your cards.
Yes, you have to lock and put that RF app. And I used to
See Troy trying to do a little bit of that. The value gets nothing.
do your own stack, your name, and everything.
First hand. So let's introduce you all to the players that we got so far. We have MF getting the massage, looking very comfortable. In seat 1.
But I used to
Tish Money in seat 2. Logan, new player. Welcome to the stream. Seat 3. With Catman, not in his usual spot. Somehow he's not in what's typically the 8 seat. But he's in seat 6. HB, which has a nickname, I guess, Miss Air. He's now HB in seat 7. Tropicana in seat 8.
It's a cool thing.
And then ATM in seat 9. So far we got a bunch of regulars in it and 1 newcomer. MF with another monster after losing that one. How do you feel when you, oh god.
Welcome to
How do you feel when you dealt pocket very
Oh, welcome to Texas.
It's great. I think that it's good to get active early. So, in that spot, he's typically going to get him, Logan. Oh, wow. That was a sick though. All right. Yeah, I would rather be telling exactly what I do than being carded early.
John, thanks for letting us know. Does that sound better? Hopefully it does sound any better
One of the flowers.
for y'all.
So here we go. He's from Cincinnati clip to start the stream. Not bad.
Sir, no influencing the action.
This is
Cincinnati, you know what I mean?
just kind of. Logan just got away with murder. Yeah.
This is gonna be a good. This is gonna be a
Welcome to
good.
the game, sir.
How exciting.
DT.
What did we do? Did we just get cold deck for the first hand? What was that?
DT, send him back for shot.
The game.
Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Are you still gonna do the 200 bounty for?
Yeah, let's do the 200 so it's easier.
Sorry. Give it that to him, please. Thank you. That wouldn't have happened during the Nick game, right, man?
I would have
Absolutely
gone.
not.
If it's a neck game, I would have gone.
Absolutely
And I'm
not.
having massage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nah, you would have
Either
pulled
your
the
foot.
All right, the lady's gone. Now the time, not time to get serious. Not fucking
Twice.
around here anymore.
4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 6, raise 30,
12.5.
7, 4, 8, 4,
That's stupid, my new strategy.
Pretty standard.
Holy
honestly.
fuck, y'all let me walk.
Are you serious, guys?
Alright, I go take a smoke now.
No, you cannot leave. You stay.
I'm out.
You stay here.
You gotta play defense.
Yeah, dude, who's gonna play defense when we're 6-handed?
No, you guys.
10, 3,
Alright, that's
Really that addicted?
Really, you just can't help
He's
yourself.
been thinking about. He's been thinking about it since we started.
Yeah, literally. Let him soak in here. You know, you
Right,
can get
are
one of those
both microphones
Rip it in your sleeve and then
kind of set, or is it
rip
just
it in your
one?
sleeve and then cover it up. Nobody will notice. Nobody will notice.
C2, 4, action C2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 4, 9, 4, 3,
Picking on me?
No?
1,
Picking on me, man.
raise, 230, 6, 7, 9,
Take it down.
You win. That'll do it. That'll do it.
You're the best. You don't pull them up?
That would have been a cooler. Absolute cooler.
Huh?
Yeah, you can flip flops on the table.
Four in, 3 plus. Shit. Never, whole day, nothing.
You been here all day?
C3,
Yeah.
You crying all day, you don't have a hand, and you wake up with a hand and you don't want to put it in. Gotta tilt me.
raise 30,
We
7,
have officially tilted HP, and he hasn't even like lost it
Like
yet.
people always complain, I don't have a hand, they wake up a hand and erase it, they fold.
4,
It's crazy.
How's that even a thing?
4, 30,
I never played him. I don't know how you could have.
It doesn't matter, this queen is going in.
Queens is a strong hand.
All right, let's hope.
Third best hand in the
Hopefully
game.
this fixes
Queens,
the microphone problem.
seven-handed.
Hopefully y'all can hear us
Gotta put it in.
right now.
No more
Enjoying the nice, quiet, no DT, no Alex commentary.
Could have turned around right there.
I know.
4, 4,
I still got another chance.
No Hollywood smiles at this table.
What if I would have did?
I
Tish
mean,
gets there.
You can have any, you can have something or.
well,
Both
oh,
ways.
good. Glad it's better.
We did it.
All right, I think we're good to go
Sometimes you got 3, 5,
after some
or
minor
6.
technical difficulties. I don't think there's any NID game on right now. What are your thoughts on the NID game, Alex? I know you play in this game. Not. Oh no, it's on.
Is it on? Okay. Yeah, I think that the gameplay is much more, obviously much more action, but Matt's mentioned when he folded the queens that if the Nick game would have been on, he would have played that hand differently. I think it just adds a different element of, and again, I don't know why, because, you know, the tax is what it is, and it shouldn't really change your play that much, but it seems that it has a huge effect on the way people open up their ranges, and then obviously for the viewer, it's much better because we get to see more action. So
I think it's really interesting because
We re-raise your ass.
the dynamic that's created just on ego alone from the NID game
That is true.
is worth it.
that's absolutely true.
Because no one,
Hopefully you
as poker players, we don't want to lose,
Looking forward to it.
and the last thing you want to do is lose the NID game.
Every time I've played it, I've gone into it saying I'm not going to let the amount dictate how I play, but then always I'm opening 7-4 suiteds or whatever, hands that normally would not be a part of my range. So yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can't say I haven't gone crazy because I definitely have. I think we got the double straddle on. Just another day at TCH. Catman with a perfectly defendable hand from the double straddle.
2 players.
Queen 10 off.
2 players.
Thank you, Phony Turgeson, for the love. I appreciate that. Glad to see you in the chat. That's right. If y'all are having a great night and enjoy our content, please hit that like button. I don't know about triple hit it because some people might double hit it and then accidentally unlike it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
we'll take just the one. But some love to the TCH stream channel. Please subscribe too. That'd be great. Wes has been out a little bit, so we're currently covering for him. We're gonna be here with you all night, covering this game. Hopefully it'll fill up soon.
Sort of interesting to see Catman slow down there. You know, we see him usually when he shows up. Right now, was he at the aggressor pre-flop there?
No,
or
he
did
wasn't.
just-
He was in
okay.
the straddle. He just
That-
defended, yeah.
That's what was confusing to me. Okay.
They got different chips over there?
The it's
not like
but with
Aria
the Nick game.
You can use
I know.
Aria
I personally, I think the worst thing I've ever done is call with King High for like $1,000 just to defend the Nick game on stream.
7-5.
I think that might have been pretty recently. I feel like, you know what I'm thinking of another hand.
Yeah. We got big hands all around with a $25 straddle on. HV, or HB, formerly known as HV.
He's going to run all over the table, I
Yeah.
guess. Half back.
Logan gonna bump it up. The worst hand. I don't mind this. See how HB wants to proceed with this. This is always a weird spot with the Nick game on. You can call, play post. You can. I think folding's out of the question.
Of course. And we don't know a lot about Logan.
Logan.
I believe this is the first time we've seen him on stream, so it's going to be interesting to see how the other players sort of...
Welcome him to the table.
Right.
Queen High. MF flopping the best of it with 1,000 in the pot and a half pot bet behind. Yeah, yeah.
That's the only move, I think.
I actually can get behind a check because
The problem is when you're MF, we just saw him fold queens pre.
Yeah.
So if he's shown any aggression by his opponents, oftentimes he can get away from very strong hands. So I like him taking the aggressive line so it removes that possibility.
I just don't want to see him fold his hand. You're right.
Yeah.
I think it'll be hard for HB to make this call.
And it looks like MF doesn't have his nit. He's already gotten rid of
Yeah,
the
he's
nit
already
button,
got-
so
That actually
always
makes his
is-
call
yeah.
so much worse.
yeah.
HB knows, would you not 3-bet me with it, you can shove the flop with. Actually, a lot of times it's just going to be 9s. I think 9s is going to be here a lot. Does make the call. Needs to hit an 8. He's way behind.
We've seen HV come back in these spots, though. Okay, now a
Great
little more
card.
difficult. No running straight, so yeah. No backdoor straight possibilities, so nice hand, MF.
It's a good double up, too. It's a healthy pot. After folding those queens free, gets a nice double up.
I think it was the massage that made him a little timid before. But we see him loosening up a little bit, getting chips in the middle.
All right, I'm never getting a massage. I don't get massages at the table. I'm afraid to get a massage. I don't know why.
I am as well, particularly on stream because like some of the faces you might be. I mean, there's a lot of reasons not to. I just feel like unless you need it, not worth it.
I do feel like MF has been the person to get the longest massage on stream because I'm pretty sure we've had him sitting here getting a massage before the entire time he was on stream.
Really? Okay.
Which is a long, very long massage. Hope everyone's doing good tonight out there on this Thursday night. Thanks again for joining us for this 2-5, what's probably going to be basically a 2-5-10 no limit hold'em stream game. Phony Turkish, you don't massages and eating at the table is very cringe.
I actually don't disagree with that. I think that if you face away from the table and sort of enjoy as best you can off of the camera, it's fine. But yeah, I don't like watching people smack while they're
Just
while they're playing.
take a bite, turn to the cards, food in mouth and everything.
Sure. Especially finger foods. That is true.
I agree, Phony Turkish. No finger foods. Like the French fries with
The
shit
worst is
all over
chicken
it.
wings.
Oh.
I've seen people eat chicken wings and then lightly wipe their hands off and then touch the cards.
Nah. That's why I have hand sanitizer in my bag, and I make sure to extra wash my hands more frequently. But I don't think I've seen anyone eat wings yet. I've seen pizza and I've seen cheese fries.
Cheese fries is tough.
Cheese fries is tough. Well, it's cheese fries with the hands. I understand if you have a fork or something, but
MF folding 6s? Is that?
No,
Oh,
MF
okay.
just limping 6s.
Okay.
Just a couple limps. Catman folding my favorite hand at 10-7. Oh, they have. I believe these. I just realized this now. I guess I'm kind of an idiot, but I believe these little dots next to the players' names indicate whether they have.
Yeah.
I'm a complete
No.
idiot.
It does take a while because the graphics, like I said, it seems like they updated last week, and so
Oh, that's nice.
this is very helpful.
Yeah, that's a huge quality of life change there, so we don't have to rely on looking. John, you always watch from Chicago. Logan is from Chicago. Do you know Logan? Maybe you do? I don't know. He says he's the only Logan he plays poker with, so.
Miyagi!
Logan and Tropicana, the two remaining players with the knit button. I'm always curious at the dynamic when two players are left with the knit button. How hard they want to go after it. Because sometimes you have the knit games where there's two players who are, like you said, the knit button's not a factor, and they just don't go after it.
Of course.
But then you get players like Catman or me.
Super aggressive.
Yeah, super aggressive.
Yes.
You know, we want to get rid of it, and that's the dynamic you want. When I think it's super fun. It's also extremely volatile because
Absolutely.
uncapped.
Commanders Eagles.
Yes, sir. That's gonna be a good game.
More interesting is if you get the rare occurrence where the last two players end up in a hand heads up, just to see who wants it more. You know, especially if neither connect. You know, it's really a fascinating sort of element to the game that you know, you find out who the true knit is.
Logan coming here to play. Tish opening a little bit lighter than we normally see, but defending because Logan's one of the remaining two knit players. That's pretty light.
But he connects.
He had the best hand and flops the best hand. I'm surprised Logan didn't bet the flop. He could just put a ton of pressure. I mean, bet flop, bet turn. He's just gonna take his equity. Tish is gonna keep the knit game going because he's not folding this river if he checks. Logan can certainly bet worse. Jacks, tens, queens, 9-8 suited, 10-9 suited. They would certainly play like this. I don't think queen high has a lot of. Oh no, Tish is gonna bet the river for value. Yeah, knows he has the best hand. Going. Oh, the ego.
Is he thinking about it?
The ego tiny block bet. These are the things I think are really cool in these bigger games. Is you see a lot more of these various types of betting. In lower stakes, it's a lot of polar sizing. People just don't have different bet sizings. It's a lot of half pot, 2/3 pot, pot.
Did we just see a call with queen high?
Yeah.
Wow.
Logan
Okay.
called with queen high. Look it up. The price was too good. I mean, if Tish were to ever be bluffing, queen, it's not with a pair. So queen high is going to be the best hand.
Absolutely. I don't hate it. It's just want to make sure I'd seen it correctly.
Dave eating your hoodie is the new mirror sunglasses. I love the fact that players do that. I find myself doing it from time to time where I'll pull the hood over and then cover my mouth. I don't do it when I'm in hand, but just when I'm just sitting there. And I guess it's just a tendency that players do. I don't know. I'm definitely not going to chew on my hoodie. I don't know about you.
I've never done it.
Chewing on my hoodie seems a little excessive. A little excessive.
Are you gonna have to do the challenge again if you lose them?
Big game still going on.
Yeah. Probably ain't that hard.
That'll take a year.
MF continuing with his limp tradition. Tish is in a mood today. This isn't the usual Tish.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm used to seeing him play much more snug, and I actually like this new Tish.
I do too.
He's taking a lot of hands post, and you know he is a very skilled player. So he's going to find a lot of spots where he's able to navigate post and take down pots that are, especially limp pots where the ranges are not particularly strong. So
I agree. I think I think he's much. If there were a very clear technical player at the table, it would be Tish.
Absolutely.
Tish is much more methodical in the way he plays.
Very difficult to play against, in my experience.
Great player.
This is going to be an interest. I mean, if he tries to do anything here, though, this is going to be tough because HV is the last guy that you want to have the 3 jacks.
I think this is just a one and done.
Sure.
Either MF and Tish can bet here. If you get any resistance, you're just done. You're really just betting for equity denial, not really value.
That's right.
At this point in time, you're not. You can get called by a deuce, maybe a worse 3, but it's just pure equity denial. The best. HV going nowhere with the Roby though. The Margot Roby hand. I remember when the hand happened and this became all the rage. Everyone turned it into the new 7 deuce.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a thing for a while, and then I know after Doyle passed, the 10 deuce was the new 7 deuce for a little bit. So
it's good to see. I like that tribute.
Sure.
It's so hard to win a hand with 7 deuce, and it's so hard to win a hand with 10 deuce. So the fact that Doyle won 2 World Series of Poker main events with the same ungodly hand, the best way to describe it, is absurd. Shit, if I won 2 World Series main events with the same hand, it's for sure going to be my favorite hand
absolutely
for the rest of my life. I'll give back, a couple $1,000 trying to recreate the magic.
At least. All right, nice pickup for HV. With the best hand.
You don't see a lot of these limp pots in these games.
I've couldn't tell you the last time I saw one, especially with these guys in the game. Catman and HV. These are guys that will punish limping.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see us go 5 and 6 ways to a flop and watch hands develop. I actually enjoy it, rather than piling in crazy amounts pre and going heads up. This is also an interesting sort of dynamic.
So far, we got MF at the top now. HV, slight loser. MF, according to this stat, MF's the only one winning.
Limping is pimping.
Folding queens may have worked out for him in his favor. I mean, he sure could have lost that flip.
He did pick up a little momentum, I guess, positive momentum just from potentially not losing.
I'm surprised to not see HV. Oh, they fixed his name too now. It's now correctly HV instead of HB.
Great work.
I'm sad. I was gonna call it the next time I saw HV. I was gonna call him HB and see if he picked up on it. I'm surprised to see him not 3-bet this because Catman's opening so wide.
We're seeing a very tame HV so far, but
ace high, slightly the best hand on the flop.
Not realizing he doesn't want to see an ace here, but let's see what size he chooses.
I think he can go actually pretty big here when Catman checks. Yeah, full pot. Yeah, full pot, 80.
150.
Oh, 150.
Oh, wow.
That's 2x pot. Catman.
Now, Catman's got straight. Yeah, okay.
Way ahead. The problem is the type of hands HV is representing. Either.
Okay.
He doesn't need. Well, HV made 2-pair, a not good 2-pair. Catman now is the nuts. But the type of hands HV is representing are sets and straights exactly.
On the flop, you're saying?
Yeah, on the flop. And queen jack.
Okay, why sets when he bets that big? I'm curious to see.
Well, so when Catman raises checks flops, he's going to have a lot of ace king, a lot of ace 10, a lot of those gut shot hands, and maybe some open enders he could check. He could also have ace jack, king jack.
Okay.
So those hands can't take 2 or 3 streets of betting. While the board is, even though it's fairly wet, it can get wetter. Like any broad way makes it worse. So most of your value is really going to be from that one street versus check.
Interesting. Okay.
But Catman goes way big now.
I like this a lot.
I like this sizing. I think he could actually go larger than this if he were bluffing. But you it's one of those weird spots where you want to call, but you kind of want to balance it because I think Catman's perfectly capable of bluffing that spot.
More than capable.
Yeah.
All right, so 12 hands in, the table's still sort of getting, I guess, a feel for how the game's going to play, but we still have 2 guys heads up for the Nick game and looking for a resolution to that.
Did the button show up at the bottom?
Let's go.
I wonder if the Nick game got resolved when we weren't paying attention.
It's possible. Interesting.
For those of
I
y'all
feel
that
like
don't
we
know,
would've- yeah. Go ahead, sir.
For those of y'all that don't know, the Nick game, the version we play is everyone gets handed out a placard. Whenever you win a hand, you get rid of your placard. The last player holding a placard pays the nit tax, which is a $25 per person penalty that goes into the next hand as a splash pot. There are lots of different variations of the Nick game. Most recently, the Squid Game variation is picking up a lot of steam. I don't know if you've had a chance to play that.
Now,
deck.
I've heard you guys talk about it. Can you explain sort of what that is?
So it's a version of the Nick game where when you win a hand, you get instead of getting rid of your placard, when you win a hand, you get a placard.
Okay.
And then after a fixed number of hands, everyone who doesn't have a placard pays everyone out who has one.
For each plaque?
For each plaque.
Interesting. Okay, so if you have 3 plaques, everyone without one would pay you,
Like
say, $25.
$25, yeah.
Okay. I don't dislike that.
And
That's an
it's
interesting
a
twist on
fixed
it.
number of hands.
Okay.
So like 1 orbit is usually the
standard,
Yeah,
okay.
the standard. And it's pretty interesting. As MF wakes up with jacks again, and a 3-bet pot with Tropicana as the 3-better, I believe. Let's see if he wants to continue. This is a great flop for him to c-bet. I really don't think there's any check here. It's going to be hard for you to win this hand when you check back.
Absolutely.
Catman
And we've seen MF obviously be willing to fold big pairs like this on boards where he doesn't dominate. So, you know, Tropicana should be probably taking a stab, especially in position. But
you don't even have to bet very big.
Right.
I believe Catman can win this hand. What I think is this is really just going to be who wants it the most now.
Sure.
MF's hand's a little too strong to fold, and he agrees.
It appears we did get a resolution because I don't see either
Yeah.
Colin nor Tropicana with a button. I think
wonder-
Catman's gonna. You think Catman's gonna go big here?
MF never has a 5 or a 4. He never has queens full. I would go for it here.
I think he's going to.
I don't even think you have to bet super big.
You think 400, 450 would
Oh,
get the job done?
3 to 500, somewhere
Sure.
in that range. Against a thinking player, this would actually be a perfect spot to shove as a 2x pot over bet. Targeting queens specifically is
Looks
what
like he's
you'd
going to go somewhere around 650. What is this? 700. Okay.
So a 725 full pot, which I don't mind either.
I don't mind, and it's very likely to work. The only way it doesn't work is if MF puts him specifically on a flush draw that missed. But again, like MF, we saw him being willing to fold queens earlier, so this is a great bet by Catman, just putting the pressure on a guy you know is very conservative.
I think MF's hand is a little too strong to fold the way the hand plays out.
I agree.
Because Catman's going to end up with a lot of pairs that aren't queens. He may think are the best hands.
Right. But well played by Catman.
It is. Like I said, it was just 2-1 at most.
Yeah.
And
You
that's...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Those hands I think are really cool. I know when you play, it's hard to figure it out, but in the moment. But there are lots of those hands. It's just who wants it most in that hand. It's not who has the best hand. It's who wants it most.
And it always helps to have position in a spot like that, like we saw Catman have. The one game I wish they would bring back, David, and hopefully we can see it in the foreseeable future, was the kill game. Do you remember the kill game?
I remember the kill. I remember the first time we did the kill game, and it was a drastic mistake.
Was it?
Because the first time we did it, we were doing it for $50 a person.
25 is the sweet spot.
$50 is way too much money.
25 is the sweet spot.
And for those of y'all that don't know the kill game is if you win a hand, you get the kill button. If you win another hand while holding the kill button, everybody pays you a bounty. And originally, when we first tried this, everyone paid you $50. That's way too much money.
Yeah,
collecting.
That can break.
You're collecting $400 for every hand you win. That's too much money.
But it does create an element, and as we see, we have Tropicana with a really strong holding. He does not hit the flop, and no one else does either. It'll be interesting to see what line he chooses. He seems to be...
Seems to be very passive.
Yeah.
This is a great c-bet spot. You have 2 overs, backdoor flush draw, and a board that they're either gonna hit or they're pretty much not. I like A-Team's bet when check to him. He has 2 over his backdoor straight draw.
I think we have to peel here. I think we have to float and see if we improve.
Our hand, the only
the
problem
board
I
pairs.
don't like with that is our hand looks exactly like
What it
it is.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't disagree, but we're ahead of so much. Here.
I agree that we have to peel. It's just we're gonna make the minimum and lose the maximum.
That makes sense.
Is really the if Troy.
He's raised.
Oh,
Okay,
I like
this a lot.
I like this one a lot.
Now, if he checked originally with the plan to do this, then the check.
This
makes
is
sense.
genius.
The check
Yeah,
makes sense.
I like that. I like this with the stack, especially with the stack size. It makes it a lot harder to fight him.
That's right.
Because he can do this with a ton of hands that are obviously queen high can't call.
I think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
The way he's looking at his cards. Yep. Well played, Troy. That was nice.
Good hand. What a lie. What a lie. ATM lying about his hand.
Close.
Might as well have been.
Oh, he thought Tropicana had ace-4 of hearts. I don't think ace-4 of hearts should ever take that line. I think ace-4 of hearts is one of the better hands
Flat.
to either
with
flat or c-bet the flop with.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm always continuing, especially since he was the pre-flop aggressor, right?
Yeah.
That's a spot where you should be.
9 higher board, 2 callers, 9-3 deuce. No one should have a lot of other deuce, deuce, and 3-3. There's not a lot of 2-pair combinations, so they've either smashed it or you've got the best hand. And like I said, the check raise is just the best. Was a great way to play that hand.
And this hot chocolate.
I'm surprised they haven't fired up another mid game. Normally they fire one up.
I would imagine they're going to do that in the next 3 or 4 hands, but I just wish we had seen the resolution to the first one. I don't know how we missed that.
Thinking back on it, I think when HV had the Jack 4, that makes the most sense.
Sure.
Because when we were talking about a limped pot, that makes the most sense that hand was the splash pot.
Okay.
Logan.
That does make sense. But so would that put, because it looks like Tropicana's stack size did not change, so Logan must have lost
Logan
the
lost
first
the
game?
mid game.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Baby.
Logan 3-betting the ace-5 suited, which in these bigger games become much better 3-bet candidates than, in your lower stakes.
Now, do you like it more when they're 7-handed as opposed to a full table? How does that? I'm just trying to get an idea for.
So
I guess how the
six and
strategy-
7-handed are kind of similar. 6 and 7-handed, you should just be squeezing way more. It's so much harder to get a hand. There's obviously a 6-handed. There's 3 less hands dealt out than a full table. So especially when it gets to later position, you should be 3-betting the small blind and the button very liberally towards late position opens, because there are lots of hands in 6-handed in 6-max configurations in late position that you open in late position because of the configuration. So like King 9 offsuit in the cutoff. It's pretty standard open. It's honestly going to be very often the best hand that gets dealt out when it folds to you. I'm not saying you open King 9 offsuit under the gun. That's obviously.
No, I'm just fascinated with sort of the
way the dynamic changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tish with my my favorite hand. Hopefully, we can see someone connect in this flop. Seems like people have been whipping.
There's no whip here. Tropicana flopping the best of it. Getting a little tricky. I like this check better with this hand.
Much better.
There's not a lot of worse hands that can call you.
And against a guy like Tish, you know he's going to continue a lot of the time. So, yeah, I don't mind the check at all. I think he's going to just flat here. Yeah.
Yep, just call. Play some turns.
I knew a club was going to come.
Well, you wanted his hand to win, so Tish. The problem is with Tropicana just check calling. I think Tish is given every incentive to attack this turn again.
Of course, and I think he's going to go much bigger here.
Full pot, I believe.
Almost
Close,
certainly.
Yeah,
125. In my experience playing against him, that seems to be the move he makes, and it's typically the right move. I still think we get a call here from Tropicana.
So. I think our hand's still too strong to fold.
But the stack depth is starting to become interesting, because once we get to the river, we're going to have, 250? We're going to have a little over 500, about 550 in the middle, and he's going to have a little bit big if he folds here. Oh wow, interesting.
Tropicana really just folding. I think he just doesn't. He knows Tish isn't gonna let go of the gas pedal. Just full send it. Which I don't mind him doing because his hand looks a lot like what it is. Either weak top pair or unpaired. Hand like kings, queens, jacks.
Well, I guess my question is, what are we playing the A7 pre-flop for if we're going to get this flop and we're going to fold? You know, I
don't think we should fold the 4 of clubs turn. I think there are tons of hands Tish could be betting the button that that's the 4 of clubs turn. I could understand maybe folding 9, a 9, 8, or 10, where hands like pocket 9s, pocket 8s now have his drawing dead.
Sure.
Yeah. And where all those hands are incentivized to bet the turn to keep, you know, to keep Tropicana from seeing rivers with the stronger hands like kings, queens, jacks, 10s, really putting the pressure on this hand. Tropicana is not. Normally when I play with him, this is unusual for me to see him play this way.
Yeah, I mean, I can say, okay, looks like they've started another Nick game, so I was going to propose an over-under on how many hands it took them to start another one, but it looks like we have started immediately. Happy to see it.
Always feels good to look down at a real hand, the first hand of the Nick game.
Now, going back to Tropicana, I do agree he is very conservative, but he's also, I think, very solid in that whenever he has the best hand, even when he's put in tough spots, he'll find the call. I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get a feel for the table right now, and we'll see how that develops going forward.
ATM with the best king high on this flop. Probably just going to go check bet, take it, I imagine. Tropicana incentivized to defend his straddle with a lot more hands than normal, which is interesting. Like, so with the Nick game on, I know you said you try and not adjust your game. When you're in the straddle, I think it incentivizes me to defend it even lighter.
Sure. No, it's not that I won't adjust my strategy. It's just that I'm not opening hands typically that I wouldn't open before. Now, defending a straddle is a lot different than opening, say, from under the gun or under the gun +1. So, yeah, I'll defend with any 2 suited cards. I'll defend with, you know, any king high, but
Go more than 2, you get called down.
And Troy had a very strong hand to defend with, to be fair. So
I mean, you should never be folding that in the straddle with the Nick game on to a single raise.
Full button is not working.
Tish saying his fold button's not working.
MF with a premium here, I'm sure. Ooh, we're going to see him. Okay. He's going to stick to his regular strategy of limping. And it's interesting to see how this has affected everyone else behind. Obviously, Catman finds a real hand, but we've seen MF limp in early position and everyone else limp behind, whereas guys like HV and Catman will generally open from under the gun. So it's kind of interesting to see how this strategy is not going to continue.
MF has kind of evolved his limping strategy in the streams that I've been watching him play. Originally, it was typically leaning heavily towards weaker hands. He's actually worked in a lot of limp re-raise, which is good that he's, you know, adjusting his game.
And as his friend, I've had some conversations with him, you know, away from the table, where I sort of told him, like, hey, you play very predictable, so maybe mix it up a little bit. Now, again, we saw him fold queens earlier, which is on the conservative side, but it is nice to see that he's balancing that with including some weak hands in his range. So not weak hands, but, you know, hands that would not have been there before.
Yeah.
And he's also just one of my favorite players to watch play and to play with. So.
He's one of the best at the table because if he's winning, he'll complain about how much he's winning. And if he's losing, he's obviously complaining about how much he's losing. But no matter what, you get the complaint equity out of him.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, I'm only up $100. I could have been up $1,000.
Exactly. It never fails. All right, it looks like we've got...
Oh, these two are going to go to battle.
Jack 8 suited to HV is might as well be ace king.
Yeah, I'm going to defend this to a big blind 3-bet. They're deep enough.
And these two guys love to battle against each other. So.
And that's one of the great things about consistent lineups is the player histories. They've built up so much history.
Now let me ask you this: how do you feel about an open-ender on a texture like this? Because obviously having an open-ender, you would play it pretty aggressive. You would aggressively continue, I guess is the best way to put it. But on a monotone board like that,
I think it really depends on the player. There's so many different ways you can do it. You
Yeah.
can just turn it. It becomes a great bluff candidate to like let's say a team had c-bet the flop.
looks like Catman's in the hand as well. What? Oh,
A team. So let's say a team had c-bet the flop. It becomes a great bluff raise candidate because you raise, you get resistance, you can figure out where how to continue. But if you figure out if you get the extra resistance, like let's say he 3-bets the flop, just fold. You don't get in any more trouble. Another spade peels off, you don't get in any more trouble.
but in position in a spot like that, would you lead if check two with that hand, or do
No,
you
I
just take a
like
turn?
the way
Okay.
played it because there are lots of hands that a team can be checking. A team can be checking queens, no spade. A hand that can take one bet but can't take tons of bets. So there are actually a ton of hands a team has. You can also check the nuts. So you're just kind of and you can delay c-bet. Like I think HV would check back the flop, the nuts.
That is true. I've seen that.
So I think I like the way he played the hand.
Oh, I like the way he played
Yeah.
it too. I'm sort of fascinated with.
It's those spots are really interesting because there are some players like ATM can show up with anything there, and players that can show up with anything, you kind of have to adjust the way you play those hands. Open enders start looking a lot stronger versus those players because you get to narrow down their range. You get to fold out a lot of their air that you're losing to, and then against their real hands, you get to realize your equity a lot.
Sure.
So
I would have preferred the 5.
it's always peculiar. Like you said, it's. I guess one of the things I look for in that spot is, like I said, is it's once you become the aggressor, unless they have the nuts, it becomes very easy to play your hands. Let's say he makes it straight on the river, he bets the flop, ATM calls. Bets turn, ATM calls, makes it straight on the river, but the flush is still there. ATM checks, and the only thing that he can get called by really is a flush, or he can get check raised. He just checks behind.
That's true.
I think position makes everything in that hand.
That's what I was gonna say. It plays completely different if he's first act after the flop. So.
Straddle any amount, right?
All right, let's see if we can find some playable hands here. And
Catman
the
with
queen
his
10.
extra straddle on the 25.
Catman's defending 100%. Maybe 98%. All right, he's kicking it in. He's kicking it in.
No nip button.
That's what that was. Okay, yeah. I just realized that. Okay.
The hand looking for the nip button. I like that. That was funny.
You know what? I want to play a big one. I don't know. I feel like playing a big one.
Merry Christmas.
Who is that? HV saying he wants to play a big one? He always wants to play a big one.
You can't do that. Got him. He said he beat you to that.
Alright, go ahead.
I feel like it's always a really interesting dynamic when someone plays let's play a big one, and then the hand following, it's a big one involving them. Because you don't know if they can.
I mean, if he picks up 7-8 suited here, he's
play a big
willing.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
willing to
can play
play a big one for sure. And he's what? It looks like he's in the double straddle. He's got 20 out there, I believe.
Yeah, this game's definitely out of the mud with the double straddle on.
MF with the 7-8.
I don't mind this limp by him on the button. He still has his nib button. HV,
Yeah, you just want to take flops when
Yeah.
you have the nip button. But I mean, good luck with HV having ace jack suited.
Yep, never happening.
It'd be interesting to see. Oh, he does call. It will be interesting to see if MF had folded. Because again, we're not very familiar with Logan. I would be curious to see how he proceeded in that spot. And did you notice if Colin still has his button? Oh wow, this is a monster flop for HP. And MF with middle pair and a backdoor straight draw. It looks like he's gonna bet at it.
Oh,
And that's a big sizing. I mean, 300 into 397. Oh, he bet 4?
yeah.
Wow, full pot. HV is going to click it back, and I
I
think
don't
MF's
think
going to have to
so.
fold.
I think the problem is there's no fold equity here.
You don't think? Against MF specifically?
Against MF's specific range, if he has any kings, he's not folding.
Right.
If he has a set, he's obviously not folding.
But what if he has a hand like pocket tens here? You don't think a jam would work against?
I think a jam works, but I don't think MF plays pocket tens.
See, it looks like I knew he was.
I don't mind a jam. I'm just saying I think it.
All right,
MF makes a
getting
call.
frisky. Here we go.
This is a hand.
I'm proud of him for making this call.
I'm super proud of him for this.
Even if it doesn't work out.
Flower has pocket eights.
Oh wow.
And if
Okay,
this
he
runs-
needs diamonds specifically.
Doesn't.
Nice
he's
hand.
gonna- MF knew.
I mean, he called so quick there.
Wow, going over the
And
name.
that's now that DT is where it's interesting to see the folding queens pre-flop. He said if we were playing the mid game, I would call here, and he just proved that statement is true by calling with a relatively weak hand. And wow,
I mean, he also does HV.
of course, HB is going to jam with a lot of hands that he beats, but still putting the money in, especially that quick, is very impressive, I think. When he stands up,
Got ourselves a game.
he said no waiting.
Oh my god.
Put the money in.
Alright, Cat.
Nice
Cat,
hand,
time
MF.
to wake up.
Well played.
We've got a game. We
That was-
have a
Never
game.
say this
That
game
was
is
a hand.
big. We just got.
MF
we
the
just
big
got
winner right
crazy
now.
now.
HB
HB's
is
throwing the party.
got the most rounds to make up, but as we've seen in streams past, he's perfectly capable of being up 5K in an hour from now. So
Well, I mean, in these games, it only takes two hands.
that's right. That's right.
You were sick and tired of getting pushed around.
All right. So
Taught them a lesson.
this is another interesting dynamic. Is now that MF has a stack that he's sitting on, it's going to affect the way he plays hands like that going forward. Because it's one thing when you're short stacked, but now he's got what looks like the second biggest stack at the second biggest stack at the table. So I'm going to be interested to see how he. Yeah, absolutely.
Very,
God, I guess I just got.
I guess it's a game player though. Obviously, when HV gets his back like this, normally he typically tends to the shorter buy-ins. Doesn't try and match stacks or anything, which is fine.
Right.
But when he builds up a stack, it's always interesting to see how he adapts and plays. Because
MF with the call of the night so far.
he's not one to lock it up. That's one thing I've actually noticed. He'll leave on because he always leaves around the same time. He'll leave on a loss. He'll leave on a win, a huge win.
Very balanced.
He just wants to play. He just wants to play.
I want to see those cards, Troy.
This is a new MF.
You know HB's gonna
All right,
get
we
it
are
back
banning
from one.
him getting a massage at the table because it seems like he tightens up substantially.
Lock it up. Where's
So if
Maybe
we see the masseuse come back over, we're gonna.
Maybe the masseuse loosened something up in his mind. Just made it easy. Call.
MF's about to splash around now.
You hear ATM saying he's going to start splashing around. I hope to see it. I hope to see him start to open
He folded
pre-flop
queens to call
as
all the
opposed
way
to
down
the
the
limping,
second
but
pair.
his limp strategy is working. So
That's strong.
no
Yeah,
reason
dude.
for him to feel like he needs to change
just fucking
anything.
feel
So,
his
and
way
here he
through
finds
the spot,
jacks.
dude.
Am I finding Jack? I think it's the third time he's had Jack.
It is.
In
It
this
is.
short amount of time.
Sick call, MF.
Let's see if anybody else can pick anything up to challenge him with. Troy. Sorry, Tropicana has ace 3. Oh, all in.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't fault him for it, but
You know, it's against the right guy, and it's you know,
I think his image is perfect for this.
of course.
Lunch, yes. Yeah, right, whatever.
Do you remember if anyone else? Did we see any aces get folded?
No aces got folded, so
Okay.
he's live. But this is also MF has to realize is that Tropicana is one of the last two players in the mid game. It's between him and Logan again.
And this goes back to what I was saying about, you know, how it's going to change the way MF plays hands. He may get away from this. I don't think he will, but oh, it's the second time he's had it. So He lets it go. Great play. Great play.
And I'm fired up about it, dude.
What did you show?
Ace 3.
I think if it had been any other player at the table, MF would have won. But Troy is one of the more sound players at the table. Just like the smash around. I think it's what ultimately made him fold. Is he's either clicking or either slightly ahead or way behind.
The problem with MF showing that hand is that it's going to let the other players at the table know that they can make moves on him like this. And so I hope that he balances that by defending like we saw him do with the 7-8.
Not ace king, ace 3. I knew I would have called.
I don't mind folding jacks. It's just don't show everyone that you fold a jack.
Play back.
That was a bad move.
Twice.
MF, you gotta call there, bro. You gotta call
I
there.
agree, Tish.
Yep.
I want that 200 back.
MF's just getting all the
You
pairs.
want to see it next week? You gotta call there.
He had 6s earlier too, right after the jacks. Going back to the limp strategy.
I don't think that he's really going to adjust the strategy too much.
I didn't think you were that strong.
This should be the splash spot though.
Yeah, 237 in the middle.
I don't even know anymore.
Oh, that's nice. That it's the graphics now just for that too.
Logan opening here, trying to defend his splash.
I think this raise is entirely too small with the splash spot.
Do you think he should be limping here? Like, what do you think is the move when you have a hand like this and you limp? I think limping is the move, right?
Just limp. You're not going to get enough folds
The chat can braid him later.
to warrant raising this, hand, especially not for that.
Not for
sizing.
$80.
Not for $80. And I think
It
one of the
looks like.
biggest problem is this hand is, if it goes 2 or 3 ways, it's going to be terrible in that
Of
game.
course, of course.
And the pot's going to be
I smelled it.
incredibly bloated. And MF would have flopped the set.
Catman with a gut shot. He's gonna definitely pile all the money in here. No, I'm just joking.
MF can't be folding for $80 for 6s.
I agree.
I hate to say it, but I think MF's locked it up.
That's what I was alluding to earlier. Is how is that going to affect the way he plays going forward? And looks like we've gotten the answer.
Logan's stack size is interesting in this because
This may work because of that.
yeah, Catman could also just put it
He
in.
can just jam. I mean, you cannot call here. You have to either. Oh wow.
Yeah, he does call.
Interesting. Well, he's better at this game than I am, so I know. Okay, well that's going to make it a little more difficult.
Logan, very happy that
Imagine
MF
the
folded
pot,
6s.
and that
Yeah.
would have. Yeah. This was a perfect spot for him to get stacks in.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, the Catman can't call
Week
this.
10, whatever week it is. He did pretty good last week, no?
He's a generous guy, though. He may
As,
give the new player a little action.
As someone who's been on the receiving end of the action multiple times and,
course.
and not work out, yes, he's definitely willing.
He's
to put the
definitely
action.
willing to put the money in here.
I think the
And
last
I don't think this is posturing. I think that he's really thinking about whether or not he wants to.
gamble.
Of course.
There's no other word than gamble. I think the last time he did it to me on stream, I shoved he had a $100 straddle out and I shoved 1,000 and he called with 6 high.
He lets it go. He called. Wait.
He called with 6 high.
Oh my
Catman
God.
called with 6. I flopped 3 6s. You know.
Oh, of course.
Catman
Typical
standard.
Catman fashion.
After the call, he back.
MF is probably tilting now, so we may see him loosen up a little bit as a result of that.
Scared money don't make no money.
And going back to what you were saying earlier about how he tends to, if he's winning, he's complaining about he should be winning more.
Yeah.
I've told him that this is the, this is the reason why is because I wouldn't call it locking it up, but he's just he's a conservative player. And what position was he in that hand? Was he?
His early position under the gun, I think.
So he would have been first act after
First
the
act,
flop.
yeah.
I think that that's a good argument for why he made the decision that he did. But given that there's 200 dead in there, you gotta take.
The price was so
You
good.
gotta take a flop.
It's $70 into what 230 in the middle, then the extra 160 on the side.
And that hand in particular is very easy to play. If you miss, or if you don't flop a set, and
You're done.
there are a lot of high cards on the board, you're just done with the hand. Now, if it comes like 8-4 deuce, that could be a tricky spot. But like most of the situations you're going to find yourself in with that hand are they play themselves after the flop.
You're right.
And so I would have loved to see him put the 80 in. But
I mean, if just imagine the night MF would be having if he played the jacks, held, played the 6s, taking that too.
Played the queens earlier.
Yeah, played the queens. He could just have all the chips at the table.
All right.
Tropicana with the
shoving.
real hand now.
Okay, 2 9s. In HV, we've seen
I think he's going to get looked up.
his ability to put the money in a spot like this.
Especially
given that, you know, he may be down a little bit on the session. I don't know that factors in a lot, but like I think that he's shown willingness regardless to put the money in when he thinks he could be flipping, and I think that this is a spot where he's going to do that.
I agree. Oh, yep. I do think though that when everyone's down, this probably is true for everyone. Yeah,
I feel like a 7.
Whenever I'm down, I'm just right in the window.
I just felt it. Yeah, it seems 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Nope, not going to do it.
I do think
7s
that
in the muck, and I saw a 9 in the muck. It just felt like it was.
Kevin was going to happen.
And that's how HP runs. He runs pretty well in those spots, but he's also one of the best players at the table. And in my experience, he's my least favorite opponent just because he's unfazed by anything that you do, and he seems to know where you're at in a lot of spots. So nice hand HP.
You got to show. You need to start showing him some more bluffs because that'll get him off.
I just don't like to show hands, you know, if I'm not.
Yeah,
called.
make him pay for it.
Maybe that's okay.
Make
That's
them
fair.
pay for it. I don't. I guess that's an interesting topic. Is there are lots when you have a play group like this where it's the same 20 or 30 players you're playing with constantly. You said you don't like to show hands. I think sometimes it's okay to show something every now and then just to mix it up. Not maybe either show a bluff or show the nuts in a spot you're never supposed to have the nuts. That type of thing.
There is value to doing that. It's just finding which spots are the best to do it in and not giving away too much information when you don't need to.
It's hard to balance that though, trying to figure out which hand to show.
Probably Troy's.
To our dealer change, Mike. Those of y'all that like tournaments though, TCH has lots of tournaments going on right now. TCH Spring specifically. The Trailblazer tournament is in spring right now. Their main event is going on. Get your chance. Get your chance to get points. I know they've had a couple tournaments so far, but the main event's Firing Flights. Get points, get on the leaderboard. Leaderboard gets you the free roll. Being in first place on that leaderboard gets you this Chevy Trailblazer. I can't say this word. Chevy Trailblazer SUV, which Wes has already claimed for himself. So hopefully y'all can give Wes, a run for his money, but don't just let him claim it for free. Now we go to a big hand where the Catman is limping Ace King suited. Tish ISOing real big with King Queen offsuit. Logan thinking about making a move. Just calls. Now the trap has been sprung. The Catman is gonna probably just rip it. It's a great spot to just back pilot. Especially in a spot where the Catman in particular is known for limping aces and kings. Y'all saw it last stream. He had aces and kings several times in limp spots. He also, but I don't know if his intention is to balance it, but he is balanced. Jack 10s are dead. This drawing real slim. He's gonna have to fold. Logan might be willing to gamble.
You said no.
You get a chance to get rid of your nib button. Yep, and he does. He decides to gamble. Catman's hand also looks, since he has no history with Catman, Catman's hand looks like 9s, 10s, 8s. And then obviously ace high. And that's a great flop for the ace king. That's a great turn for the ace king. That's a great river for the ace king. Ace king holds up, gets rid of his nib button, and stacks Logan in the process.
What does that mean?
Think you're cool. Think you're cool.
What does that mean?
Fish avoiding disaster.
Lucky I woke up with a hand. And what?
In true Catman fashion, I thought he was just
Can I change 5 right?
Me?
Wow, there's a Nick game Catman now in HD with that big goat. I believe the straddle is going to be on way. The $20 straddle is going to be way on. So it's a 5-10 game anymore. It's 2-5-10-20 or larger, which is pretty typical of the Thursday night stream game.
Twice with aces against me and my brother.
We have 1, 2, 5 trades with Catman still. Okay.
Tim is a knack for being able to punish sometimes.
Sometimes he's lucky.
The players currently stroking Tim's ego. They need to stop doing that. Last week when Tim stacked everybody with aces and kings, he was saying he was such a pro for, limping aces and kings instead of trapping. And we were making fun of him because, it's really easy to make money when you limp kings and someone flops top pair.
Sure.
It's also really easy when you limp aces and someone has kings.
Exactly. That was Bar who had.
So I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know if the trap is a real thing.
This is going to be interesting to see how Tropicana proceeds here, especially after losing a big one with the same hands.
The 2 red ones this time. I think versus MS 3-bet, I don't like jamming. I just don't. I don't think MF is. Since he's already shown that he's pulled the jacks, I don't think he's calling with worse. But you.
Yeah, he jams. I mean.
Oh, right. This is the only worse hand he calls with.
Like that red sausage they use sometimes, like 2 boards, whatever it is.
We're doing 2 boards. The first one's going to count for the Nick game, so let's see which one of these gets rid of their button, and let's see if Thor can hold twice. It's hard to do.
Tropicana doesn't. Oh,
there's a 9.
Should have run it once.
Didn't need it.
I agree.
You hate to burn a 9 there.
We'd like to see an ace or a king here if you're Troy.
That's true.
No dice.
Well, he will get rid of the net button, which is a little help.
That's a
great
great flop.
No diamond for him.
Oh my goodness. Man.
Nice hand.
Nice hand.
Disgusting. You don't see that very often.
He was due for that after, losing to the 7s. So obviously I'm not rooting for anyone at this table, but you like to see the best hand hold at least once. And he makes the boat on both boards.
It's interesting to see MF call with the ace. Obviously, it's better to have ace king than jacks because you remove aces and less combos of aces and kings. But it's just interesting to see him hesitate so much on the other spots, whereas this one he didn't think about it. We bet and called. I do think Troy's shove with ace 3 and the 9-4 obviously played a factor in it. But I don't mind Troy. The Tropicana's shove.
Like that with like vegetable or like
I also think calling would have been fine.
It would have been fine, but when you think about the way that the board ran out, it looks like we might have a new player here.
We have Mo joining us.
The way that the board ran out, it is the best way to ensure that Ace King will continue, right? Because Ace King would not have continued on the 9-3 deuce, or whatever the first board was. So it's kind of interesting to balance when it is good to shove and when it is good to just flat, because obviously you can't know that you're going to flop top set, but also a hand like Ace King is not putting any more money in generally.
I don't think that's necessary.
This player,
not the only one.
Yeah.
The last dealer did it too.
I think MF is capable of putting in more money. But you're right. It ensures you make the max, but it also the inverse.
The reverse.
Yeah.
The reverse is true.
You lose the max. But nice hand nonetheless for Troy. Good double up after getting belted with the exact same hand.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's called back to down 20, which is a good spot to be in at this stage.
And the best reserve for you.
To be honest, if I ever finish a game of poker where I'm down $20,
Brother, that's a win. That is a win.
I don't know about y'all out there, but down 20 is like absolutely insane. And what a roller coaster for Tropicana. And with the 20 on, this game is MF's turn. Let's see what he chooses. Oh, he 3-bets his nines. Nines are a 3-betting hand of the night. I'm curious to see how ATM decides to play this.
I am as well.
With MF's ability, showing the ability to call it off with ace king.
Do you think that, I mean, again, the stack depths are a little bit different. If he was 1,000 effective, I think the shove here, it's either shove or fold, but
yeah,
with this,
I think
he's
the
just
stack
gonna
depth,
flat.
yeah, it's just a flat. And
All right.
I like this from ATM. I
Let's
think
hope for a 7-3 deuce flop and see how that develops. Or
that's
also the
that's
same.
a 7-3 deuce flop. That's the exact same flop. And MF just rips it.
Wow. I've seen him do this.
Yeah.
Like,
With ATM, I actually don't fault him for thinking about calling because MF has all of the flush draws, ace king, ace queens, spades.
do you think he shoves that quickly with those hands?
Yes.
Because I've seen MF do this with, he just, when he gets a flop like this with a hand like 9s or 7s, he just doesn't want to see any more cards. But it could easily be both, right? It could be the ace deuce of spades, or it could be a hand like pocket 10. So it's really hard.
I think that MF could also have 6s and 7s here. Is the other thing. I actually think it's possible.
If you're ATM, you need it to be 6s and 7s because ace deuce of spades you're not doing particularly great against. Or ace 3 of spades.
Ace king, ace queen, ace jack of spades you're not doing great against.
Your equity's not great, so you much prefer to be the shover in a spot like this. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays this.
The only good news is not holding the 8 of spades. He can making us. There's one less out for spades.
25.
But
so you would prefer to have the 8 of spades? Or
no,
not
I
have
prefer
it?
not to.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying.
No, I don't give. It's not extra equity. You just want there to be one less out.
That's fair.
I mean, you turn the 8 of spades, he's dead.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
He doesn't know he's actually up against a slightly superior, but superior nonetheless hand. I don't think this is an overplay at all by MF. I
don't think it's an overplay at all either. It's just if you bet 600 and he jams on you, you're in a miserable spot now.
I think if I bet 600 and I get jammed on this board, I'm calling.
I know you are, but we're talking about
with MF the way he plays, I think if we would have come to the same conclusion, he had bet $600 or $700, he would have just called it off.
Right. Either way, well played. You get a high off from MF. Doing good.
Not a great flip to lose, and although 9 seemed to be outside of the one hand doing pretty well tonight. Wes always likes to point out how there's a hot hand of the night.
You think it's 9s?
I don't think it's 9s. I don't know what it is yet because it's been kind of mixed.
It could have been Jackson. We just don't know because MF folded him so many times.
That's true. It could have been Jackson. It all could have been Jackson from the same person. Catman with a real hand. Just calling. Tish is really after it tonight. That's
his first to act. It looks like Tish is on the button. Okay.
Tish is on the button. Yeah.
All right. Oh. Okay.
Catman's gonna check. Tish is gonna take the bait. Jack high. No showdown value. We have a bet.
Oh, he will be fun.
That's big.
I won't bet so much. I get bet.
Do you think we can get a raise here or just a flat?
No, it's just
always
a call.
flat. Always a flat.
But it's interesting because Catman is known for calling super wide here, and he could have anything.
It's fair.
This doesn't change the texture of the board. I think Tish.
I don't think so, but you think because he has some showdown value that there's a possibility he can access that?
I don't think a 4 is showdown value. I think a jack would be showdown value.
Okay.
I don't think a 4 is. I think really Tish is whether or not he wants to bet to try and get a 9 or an 8 to fold. Okay. And he decides he wants to try and get a 9 or an 8 to fold. I don't mind this if we've made it this far.
Of course.
The Catman strong. Her hand is a little too strong to fold here. I think it's too strong to raise and when I say too strong to raise, I mean when I say too strong to raise, I mean it's at the top of your calling range, and yes, you're way ahead of Tish's betting range, and you can definitely raise for value.
Interesting because the Jack 10 does get there. A lot of the bluffs that he could have here.
This is a spot Tish
should go way big.
Yeah. He should go for it. I like the way he set this out.
Of course. I mean, that card is picture perfect for, yep.
Yeah.
He goes all in.
I think the Catman might have too much hand to fold. Obviously, so
I think he's gonna. I mean, yeah. He
This
could
is a
sniff
cool-
this out.
this is a cool hand.
This is a great play. Either way, this hand plays out. It's well played by both players.
Yep.
He puts the money in, and that's just gonna do it. Great hand, Catman. That's the biggest part of the night so far.
yeah. Well played, Catman. I don't mind the way Tish played it.
The
Played
reason,
it.
sorry,
Go ahead.
no, the reason you're checking there if you're Catman though is because you want him to do that. So when he does it, it shouldn't change the way that you proceed, right? Like you want them to be stabbing at it, but the only issue there is that the main bluff that he could have there is maybe
King Jack, Queen Jack, or actually, I wouldn't ever think he had Jack 4. I would think his primary bluff candidates are 2 jacks, King Jack, and Queen Jack, and then he's gonna have every Jack 10 combo.
Sure.
So, but if he's got every Jack 10, he's got every King Jack and every Queen Jack, and then every Jack combo. He could also do with every 10 a pocket 10s combo. Although I don't think 10s and Jacks, all of the combos take those lines.
I love hearing you wizards talk about these hands like this because again, I'm just more of a not necessarily theoretical player, so it's fascinating to sort of hear you break that down and it's in the head of a guy like Tish, who is a thinking player and who is thinking about all of these things. It's very interesting.
But this hand was an example. When I said Catman's hand was too strong to raise, this is kind of what I mean. Like he's got a hand that he really shouldn't ever have there. He should be
because he just flatted.
Yeah, he just flatted pre-flop versus a button open. That's a slam dunk free bet by most players.
Of course, especially him.
Especially Tish. And Catman versus Tish. You just have the best hand so often, you want to build the pot. And now he's got a hand he should never, ever have.
And if he plays it any other way, Jack 4's never putting in that much money.
Exactly.
The hand that was just brilliantly played by Catman.
I like it.
It's just so hard to make that call when they jam at the end there, but like he knew where he was at. He didn't think about it too much. He just put the money in, and
he's either got it's one of those spots where you don't beat any of Tish's value, but you beat all of his bluffs. Even his semis, you beat Ace Jack, Ace 10, which could be trying to target hands like 9-8 and getting them to fold. Obviously, if Catman's not folding Ace Queen, he's not folding 9-8. But that would be what Tish would be targeting with his bets.
I mean, I may have folded there.
It
works against a lot of people, you know. So
it could have worked against Catman too. I think it's really just flipping a coin.
That's right.
I honestly think that's the decision point. Something like that. MF making his exit.
They win the.
But he's leaving?
Or he's just away. Oh no, his bag's still there. He's away. I was gonna say he's making his exit a little early.
Yeah, it seems like he's got at least 50 minutes in the tank. Hopefully so, because I'd love to see.
Now everybody's stuck except for the Catman and MF.
And it looks like if Mo's coming in, he's definitely going to change the dynamic of this table. And
Mo, another more than capable player.
Fantastic player.
Yeah.
I've watched him play a few times, and more than a few times actually. I've never gotten to play with him personally, but everything I've seen from him shows me that he is not somebody that I would be sitting across.
This is the type of poker I enjoy playing. The problem solving, the thinking about it. I just think it's super fun.
Of course. And everybody got a little piece here. This is going to be interesting to see. ATM with the bottom end of it, unfortunately. So he may be the least likely to continue, but the other two players seem like they're going to take another card off, and so is ATM.
Tish going to play this as a raise. Nope, just call. I thought he was reaching for extra blacks.
It wouldn't be the worst spot.
Everybody with nib buttons still too. Yeah.
Look at that. Okay.
Only one diamond.
So now Logan with diamonds working for him. He's also still got a shot. Okay, yeah. ATM is still down.
Oh,
wow.
The diamond does come through.
Which is good to see. You know, Logan has lost, the first two? Is this the second mid game still? Or I thought he lost the first.
Yeah, he lost the first two.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, this is... Now, he may still get put in a tough spot. I don't know. No, they both checked. Okay.
I like betting here for value.
120.
Neither
the door
of the players,
for somebody that really...
So neither of the players should really have the ace of diamonds that often, unless it's ace 8, ace 9, or ace 7 offsuit, which I don't think ATM has very often. Tish could have all of those with pretty reasonable frequency.
And he's perfectly capable of wrapping it here. So.
Yeah. But the way with the number of hands Tish has, they continue. The ace of diamonds is going to be more often than not accompanied by another diamond. All the big diamonds, since it's nothing but tiny diamonds, that really only leaves.
They called.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great job getting value on the river there by Logan.
I think Tish really called because he didn't think Logan would bet that low of a diamond. But if I'm in Logan's spot, I'm happy with my diamond there.
I'm happy with my diamond as well, but I think I'm more likely to check just because I still have a nip button, and the last thing that I want is to get raised on the river and blown off my equity, and also off of getting rid of my button.
The nip button equity, yeah. I think checking and betting are both fine.
Yeah, I mean, he shows a perfect size, it looks like.
Yeah, got called by basically nothing.
On that river, yeah. Has Mo played a hand yet?
Mo has not. Mo's waiting for the resolution.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to, off the rip, just start another net game when he sits down. That would be...
I think it's great to just fire them.
I think so, too.
Back to back to back to back.
But it looks like, didn't they wait 4 or 5 hands the first time? So
they did. I think no one mentioned anything. So they may wait a couple, let most settle in.
No, 10.
10, seat 1, no. Yeah. 10, seat 1. Fold 2. No fold. 30, seat 3. Fold 6.
Logan, without a nib button.
Oh, Catman would have had a nice one.
Getting a little after it. Kind of the short-handed dynamic.
MF with a real hand.
Yep. Just calls, though.
Dark check, seat 9.
All right, that's what.
That's just enough flop for Logan to get in trouble.
I don't like that check. Did he check in the dark?
Logan checked behind.
Did MF check in the dark, or did he just check so
he just
quickly?
Checked normally.
Okay.
I kind of would have liked to see a check again on this turn. You're really going for value against Ace Queen, Queen Jack, Jack 10, but a lot of those hands would have bet on the flop. So
he gets raised here. MF's
I mean, what am I? I could be incredibly wrong. I don't know. This happens to me all the time in the booth. Just don't get anything right.
I don't think you're wrong, and that's a great river. The 10 of clubs on the turn really was.
It's an interesting card for Logan to check back flop then raise turn, because you're ripping very thin.
All right, what do we think MF's doing here? Because we've seen his ability to sort of take the conservative line, but I think he's got too much hand here to fold.
Oh, he's never folding. He's thinking about whether or not he should raise.
That's a big size, though.
This is still way too. It's pot size, but it's still way too much hand to fold. You beat Queen 10. You beat all the semi bluffs. You beat like a Jack 10 to check back. You
Call 350. One turn notes.
Oh, he called. Okay.
He called. Yep.
Nice hand at MF.
And that's picking off a good bluff and that lead on the turn. And I think his image earlier, maybe Logan thinking he would fold a stronger range of hands. I think it would have worked versus a king or a queen.
And it's hard to put him on a hand that strong, given that he checked so quickly on the flop. Now, again, I may be looking too deeply into this, but I would not have expected him to have that hand if I was Logan.
Timing tells her.
I didn't think he had time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it matters. And sometimes
Hold top 2 here.
I personally try not to look too much into timing overall in games like these, because a lot of these players are well versed.
Of course, but also having played with MF a lot, I do know that he does check dark a lot, so that may have been
if you
what
check
happened.
dark.
Yeah.
I can see that happening if you check dark.
Very tough classes today, man.
30, seat 7.
MF's on fire today, though. HV now with jacks.
He's on fire when he puts the money in, and he's on fire when he doesn't put the money in. So, flopping sets and splash pots. Like to see him.
I'm curious as to what ATM appeals to ATM about the Queen 6 this time, because the last hand he had the Queen 6 off, and
maybe because he was in the small blind and he felt
was in the big blind last time. Now he's in the small blind. HV gonna get a little bet and take it. No, this.
Oh, but yeah. 50's about in 7. 9, 4.
Here we go. Let's go. Bobby Jones. Well done, Robert.
Oh, we have
Oh,
another
baby.
player joining. Bobby Jones. It's been a while since we've had him on stream. Welcome to the game, sir.
I've seen him on the floor a little bit, but it's great to see him on the stream. I don't know that I've ever seen him on the stream before, so.
We've had him
Going back to the conversation that we had earlier with the pizza, we got a
finger food. He's also waiting for. I think they're still waiting for the resolution in the game.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense. It's ATM and Tish heads up for the mid game, and if ATM folds, Tish gets a free stab at getting rid of his button. That makes sense.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
We're good, John. 6 folds.
ATM not one to give up that easily.
Yeah, he'll definitely fight for it. Propaganda with an ace. Cut off. Normal. See a real hand and a 3-bettable hand.
1 fold.
What do you think the move is if you're Tropicana here? Assuming it folds around to you, I think he's going to fold. But if you're going to open there and he makes it 75, you think
I
there's
just had to rifle off
What?
the stack with Jack 4 to lose in
It's
the game.
really interesting because ATM is capable of 3-betting super light.
Of course.
But I think he calls so wide and he 3-bets a lot of hands, not a lot less such hands than people would imagine. I think his 3-betting range is a lot more linear.
Next ammo.
Instead of calling with Queen 10 offsuit, he's 3-betting it. And a lot of those hands, your hand's just not going to flop well.
Of course. And we saw Troy earlier call with the ace-7 of diamonds. He flopped an ace and he ended up folding it to a moderate amount of aggression. So I think, if that's the way you're going to play the hand post, I think it's smart to just let it go.
I don't mind Troy's decision, especially since he did nothing invested, nothing attached to the net game. He was.
That is true. That's an important element.
Yeah, then I went there.
ATM limping. This is the splash pot. I think there's a lot of straddles on right now.
So that's not right.
Game's about to get very interesting after this hand.
That's probably not
And maybe during
The
this hand.
Catman's going to raise it up. Perfectly fine hand to raise it up with.
6.
MF? Oh, ATM's going to give him a little bit of action. The ace-9 off in his hands now. 6-5 off, not good enough. Logan, pretty gambly. Probably willing to gamble now. Don't imagine anything's changed.
Call 152. 3 players, John.
Does
What do we
connect.
have? Catman seems to have.
Somehow makes the best hands with the 8-5. It's going to be hard to hold on.
I thought that was 3 clubs. Okay, so Catman
ATM with the open ender, Catman with the 2 overs.
and a gut. No gut shot. Okay. Yeah, gut shot. Okay.
Yeah, a weird gut shot.
Yeah, very weird gut shot.
I don't think this bet sizing is going to get any of the players to fold. I don't mind this bet sizing from ATM because he's in a position he could just turn them. I wonder if
The
Logan's...
problem though is that
no,
that's
Logan.
interesting. So the problem I think is that when you make this bet, assuming both players call, now you have 450 more in there, so you have 1500 in on the turn, and you don't even have a pot-sized bet. So
I don't mind this bet.
No, I think
small.
the bet's great. It's just
You can just shove brick turns, and the 8-5 folded and would have just smashed it here.
I guess the question is when you brick turn, assuming Logan had called,
you can
what is
shove
your
it.
play if you're first? You could just
I don't
shove?
mind shoving it.
Okay. Because you still have a decent amount of equity.
Yeah, you can get called. It's hard to get called by worse, other than a flush draw. But no one's got like since you have the 9 of clubs, no one has a flush draw plus a straight draw. So it's gonna be hard. Like I guess outside of Queen Jack of clubs, which I think would check raise the flop,
The big bet.
and 10x of clubs. I don't mind this bet
If
either.
this was the plan on the flop, then yeah, this is brilliant by him. I just think you put so many hands in a tough spot.
I'm kind of sad for Logan because he was getting such a great he's getting such a
Perfect
great
turn for
prize,
him.
and he just gets the best turn in the world.
Of course. But I mean, Catman's in kind of an interesting spot here, just because like you can't. I mean, I don't think there's a world where you can flat. Yeah, you have to.
You can't flat.
No.
You can't raise. You can only fold. ATM stack size is just super important in that hand.
Well played by ATM. That's not how I would have played the hand, and that's why these guys are better players than I am, because it's hard to pull the trigger in a spot like that, especially out of position. Initially against 2 other players, takes a lot of guts to make that play.
To be fair, I wouldn't have put myself in the same spot with ace-9 offsuit. It's just not a great hand. But that's kind of one of the cool things is there aren't a lot of players with overlapping gameplay. It's a lot of very different styles of play. Everyone's just so different.
And welcome Mo and Roberts to the game. It's going to be exciting to see how they change the dynamic of this table. They've already been playing relatively big. There's Al right there. Good to see him. Yeah, but I think this is really going to change. Because from what I've seen of Mo, he is. It looks like he's bought in relatively deep compared to the average stack at the table, and he is, from what I've seen, pretty aggressive. And I think he's going to battle. He's going to battle with all these guys.
I think the biggest change is the dynamic going from 7-handed to now full ring. That's the biggest adjustment that's going to happen. You just have to change so much when you go from short-handed, 6-7-handed to full ring. Yeah. HV opens Queenton off 7-handed. He folds it under the gun +1 very easily. Full ring. It's not a good hand anymore.
This is true.
I mean, to be honest, it's probably not a good hand. Period.
Not a good hand to begin with, but it's much better, as you mentioned. With
short-handed,
yeah.
And immediately, right off the bat, new Nick game.
Mo opening Steve. This is what I'm talking about. Mo getting in there right away with the 7-4. Love to see it.
Flops
the best hand.
Get a bet. A little for protection here.
What is that size? Is that 60? $60. Okay. Great hand. Well played.
Right off the bat, Mo letting it know. Not messing around.
Already in the green.
You have 2 cards?
It always feels really good to be the first player out of in the game.
Of course.
It doesn't matter with what hand you get out with. It just feels great because now it's
And rest assured, he's not going to play, like he's going to continue to be aggressive even in spots similar to that. Like he's not going to tighten up now that he's gotten rid of his button, but like, yeah, it always feels nice when the pressure's off, at least for the time being.
I think the only weird thing is whenever someone gets a walk in the game. That always befuddles me. How people could just let that happen.
You know, I saw on one stream the game conclude with a walk, and it just felt so wrong.
It's so dirty. It feels so bad to lose. HV waking up with a premium versus a button open. Definitely going to go up. I think Logan, based on how he's been playing the stream so far, not going to be folding this one. Too much hand to fold. The interesting part is I think calling might bring Catman along. 6-3 suited right up Catman's calling range.
What's calling?
Oh, just Muck's instant Muck. I'm wrong. Catman,
oh, Logan, you mean? Okay, sorry.
Catman doesn't want to gamble right now, and we got.
That's surprising to me.
I want 6-3 to hit. Just bam. Oh.
Back
Top pair, good
draw.
kicker for Logan. Not a bad board for 10s either versus a call range. You're going to get lots of middling pairs, and I'm going to a ton of these Broadways. I like this check by HV. Really
Stack
letting...
depths here are going to come into play, though. Stack depths going to come into play here, yeah.
I think if Logan bets this flop, HV's either going to jam it or fold it.
I think he's going to go somewhere about 275, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to... I've obviously never seen him play before, but... All in. Okay.
I don't mind this. I don't mind this shove at all.
I don't either. It can be so many hands that 10s are ahead of.
An 8, 9s, flush draws. One of the problems that I have with HV's hand, though, is that you're blocking one of the big draws, 10-9. Obviously, he could still have 7-6, but it does make the call. I don't fault. I don't hate
it.
Too.
No,
yeah.
of course.
And they're off. HV needs a 10 or running straight cards.
No spades in either player's hand, so.
Good turn for Logan. Doesn't really help him. Great river.
That's over.
Big pickup for Logan. Good double up. He kind of had a pretty swingy session. Losing some. Now winning this one, yeah. I like Logan showing that he's not afraid to gamble. Really getting into the mix there. As we look at the new leaderboard, Tish and HV still throwing the party. Robert hasn't played a hand. He's lost $7. That feels bad.
$10 $20 stone CD.
Tropicana with his swinging session just down a
67. That's a good spot to be in.
And the Catman and MF sitting pretty up top.
It's on Amazon Prime.
They're trying to get the game put on.
10, 20.
Amazon Prime showing lots of football games lately. I don't know if you watch football.
Okay, of course, absolutely.
I feel like
Commanders,
they show.
Eagles tonight, yeah.
I know Twitch shows football one day a week. Amazon Prime has football another day. I mean, I'm not a huge football person.
I'm huge, but I have the NFL app, so
Oh,
let's watch
super
everything
easy
on
for
that.
you,
Yeah. I don't blame them for wanting the game on. There's a lot of sports going on right now, so they might have basketball on one TV, and Fish is the game that we're most excited about right here.
I wish I could get into sports more. The problem is, since I never grew up with sports, it's hard for me to really dive into it now when there's so much information I need to. Because I'm the type of person that needs to soak in. I can't just.
To be fair, it's not as complex. Like if you were trying to get into, say a card game like Magic that we play, that would be daunting, right? But if you're just trying to watch football, I mean, there's just a little bit that you need to learn. I think you just need to find maybe the right game to watch, and it gets you. And I think you'll be hooked. Sports are the best.
Maybe because my friends, when they delve into their sports talk, it's like when I talk about Magic, people who don't understand Magic. That's the best way to describe it.
That's proper.
Fold 2.
Once again, I'd like to thank everybody out there that's joining us tonight for this 2-5-10, mostly 20 now game from Texas Card House Houston. Now we got a full table for y'all, and it's been a great game tonight so far. Tons of action.
6 raises to 225.
Plenty more with this Nick game going on. Catman really likes going really hard. I mean, as he should in the Nick games with these big hands.
ATM looks like he wants to go crazy with this 9-3.
I hope so. Just some real street poker.
It'd be so great for the game. Yeah,
oh, we got some,
he's going.
We
He's
got
going
some
for
real
it.
street poker going on for y'all. Y'all are in for a treat. This is. Oh,
It's what we
MF
came for.
out of there. Logan, definitely gonna put in some more money. Oh, come on, Logan. You can't get unstuck by by folding.
Closing the action there too. I think that
I
it's
think
a really good spot to put the money. Obviously, he would have whiffed, but it's going to be interesting to see how ATM proceeds here because Catman didn't flop anything. Well, he does have backdoor spades. I take that back. And he leads out.
I would like, if ATM's intention was to get nasty with his hand, I think floating this flop would be so dirty. Oh yeah, ATM.
Coming in.
We got a fun one for y'all ahead. Oh, what a great turn for him to, because now Catman doesn't get a lot to fold on this turn other than a flush draw, and he's holding the ace of spades, which is good and bad.
If he continues here, what size do you think he should be choosing? Somewhere in the
something in the smaller,
450?
because you if you get raised, you
545 he chooses. Okay.
that's fine.
Oh, 525. Sorry.
You want to make it look like value. You want, but you don't want to bet so much that if you get raised, you've just lost a boatload of money. You don't want to make it too small to where they're raising so very frequently. I think this would be disgusting if ATM finds a shove. It then shows the 9-3. It's interesting because the shove would would target ace high hands. That's really what you're targeting. That's what you're trying to get to fold. Maybe pocket tens, pocket jacks. I think ATM is capable of shoving.
He's gonna let it go.
He's gonna let the 9 high go. And now he gets shown that his bluff probably would have worked.
That's tough.
It's a,
I like the effort though. You know, you could see that pre-flop he had a plan. The problem was that
the follow through.
well, we saw Catman with the ace queen against Tish. We saw him checking out of position, and in this spot he was leading out, so it makes it a lot more difficult whenever you're met with resistance. If he had checked that turn, I think ATM would have gone for it.
Catman saying his thought process through that is fold. Earlier before the stream, I was talking with them at the table, and they were all talking about each other's thought processes. And I'm like, well, Catman's is really simple here. It's or fold. Like yes. No.
Does that mean I'm not going to have this thing?
All right, Tish with a nice one.
At what point do you cut suited connectors off? Because I know some people put the thresholds differently. Like like some people will play 9-8 suited and 7-8 suited, but they won't play 7-6 and 5-4 suited.
I'll play them all. The difference is he is opening here, and so I like to play them whenever I'm either closing the action or when I'm not closing the action, but there's already 3 or 4 other players in the hand. I think going heads up with hands like that is not ideal. So I think if I'm going heads up with someone, I think 9-10 suited is my cutoff.
That's fair. I think it's good to make distinctions. Obviously, in all the situations, especially when you have the really crappy ones like 5-4 suited,
Of course.
6-5, you just want to be aggressive.
My thought process is that I want to have a combination be the low end of mine, where if I make a pair, it's still a reasonably high pair, right? So like on this board, if you have 9-10 suited, it's still relatively playable post, right? Whereas 4-5 suited, you flop a 4, it's not really doing much for you.
Yeah, you feel deeper.
Tish raising, then check calling is kind of concerning for Mo. I don't think
Mo with
Tish
the
has
ace of diamonds though, so
I don't think Tish has a lot of flush draws as played. Since you have the ace of diamonds, I think the only flush draws Tish would ever have here that would play would be like ace 10 of diamonds or ace 5 of diamonds, and hands that don't get a ton of value betting 3 streets, and then you get a ton of value by checking and over flushing people.
Tish looks like he wants to bet. What?
His hand's a great bluff candidate because you're not winning at showdown.
400?
And Mo
And a
has too
quick
much hand to
call.
fold.
That was
Yeah, Tish knows he's lost.
Yeah. Oh, 300. Okay.
Yeah, you're never getting called by a worse hand. Just toss those chips over. I like the
effort though.
Yeah, I like it. I do think it's a spot where he should realize that he just doesn't have a lot of flushes played. I think that because
But are there non-flush hands where he could also lead on the river?
I don't know what hands he has to raise pre-flop, check call turn, and then lead after it checks on the river. Lead.
I guess the hand as played in its entirety. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of an interesting way.
Washington plus 10 over 43.
I would have kind of just taken my showdown value and hope Mo had nothing, which doesn't happen very often, but
Happens often enough to where it's worth doing, right?
6 points.
for those of y'all that don't know, we will be having time bonuses for y'all this Black Friday at TCH Houston. That's right, it's back. Y'all can stack them just like before. You can get 500 for $500. You can get 750 in time, 300. You can get 400, 200 for 250, and then 100 for 120. And you can stack them all. I don't want to do the math. Someone else do it. But that's a great deal. If y'all are gonna play, by the time anyways, you just might as well.
Such good value.
Yeah,
Such good value.
great value. I see so many people just throwing away $12 and they never buy the bonuses.
I don't understand. I mean, I see it happen so often, but I agree with you. It's like, if you're saving money in the long run, just go ahead and peel the Band-Aid off and just get it over with.
Sure, you bite the bullet. Yeah, that sucks. It's $1,000 in time. But if I'm saving, $400 or $500, in the overall thing, that's another buy-in for a lot of these
exactly
games,
right.
especially for these 1-3 and 1-2 games. 1 or 2 buy-ins, that's huge. And you're stocked up on time for a while.
The foreseeable future.
Yeah. Catman with. See, these are the spots where I actually like having the ace of diamonds, because if you c-bet, there's less hands that can call you. I would have liked to see Catman c-bet the flop.
Catman very sort of
I don't know
very
what that
tame
motion
tonight.
was,
You
yeah.
know, he's
The delayed c-bet's okay too. When it checks through on the turn, you just have the best hand so often.
Sometimes make a bump.
4 players left in the 05. Tropicana's name is taking up too much space. The dots. We'll have to talk to Troy about that one. Shorter name, so we can get the dot on screen.
Oh, okay. I was caught.
he's looking very Tropicana with that shirt he's got on tonight.
I don't think Troy ever dresses like a hobo. When I say that, I think Troy's like Tish, where they show up in more reasonable attire than the rest of us.
Yeah, Tish is a lot more dapper than all of
Yeah,
us, but
he's got
yeah,
the
of course.
turtleneck.
Always looking sharp, playing sharp. HV with another hand that I like. So these hands are also, they're a lot more dangerous than the hands of HV, but these are the ones I like to mix in.
I like it. They're so deep. Catman and HV are incredibly deep. And flopping middle pair, that's a pretty good flop.
No, because I want to know how many people.
Quick fold.
He just
You
Open mug. That's not a move you see.
Oh, he did open mug.
He opened
Okay.
mug. I feel like I see Catman do that more than anyone else.
Interesting.
I've had it happen to me in the 1-3 streets, where some of the guys I play with on a regular basis, they just go, I know you're gonna bet, I'm gonna save time, and they
Wow.
fold. And I've had it happen this week too. It's just really funny. I'm not saying they were wrong. I was gonna bet. It's just really funny.
Well, it's actually nice when he weren't gonna bet, and they just open.
Yeah, they open
fold
mug.
and just let you have it.
I don't think that's happened very often, but it definitely has happened where
Well,
I
it
wasn't
happens
gonna
to
bet.
me a lot because I'm not betting in spots when I should be like you are. So I'll always take the free.
I mean, I don't care if I was gonna bet or not. That's the freest. Knowing that people will call a raise and then just
Always
give up.
welcome,
Yeah,
guys.
always.
If you're out there listening and you're playing with me, always welcome. Okay.
We got suited ace and a pair.
ATM with 4s and the knit button. He's gonna get in there.
MF with his knit
MF.
button. I do notice that whenever he has the knit button, he loves these suited, crappy Broadway hands. Like
Okay.
the King X and the Queen X.
Oh,
suited.
this is a good flop for him to rep if he wants to.
Robert's gonna c-bet it. I like it with backdoor hearts in the gutter.
Now, if you're MF, do you like a flat here or do you like a raise?
I actually like a flat here because if we ever have a Queen 9 and Ace Queen, we're never raising.
Okay.
We're just never raising crystal. And once it checks through, I think MF has a crystal clear bet.
He
MF
should. I just don't know that he will.
You're not trying to get a king to fold. You're trying to get a 10 to fold. You're trying to get ace high to fold.
Come on, do it. There he goes.
yeah,
There he goes.
Yep. That's a bet too.
Whether it works or not, this is
this
is beautiful.
That's a bet. That's gonna work.
Nice hand.
Good.
MF.
See, and
Good to see it's not locked up.
yeah. And this is the type of play though. When I first started playing with him, when the game was the 5-6-20 game, when the stream first started up, he didn't do these sorts of things. So his game's adapted. It's great to see.
You know, he told me the other day that he's reading, and he brought the book in. It's probably 3 inches thick, some modern poker theory book, and he's just like, whether or not he takes that information and it sticks, it's good to see that he's making the effort, and he, like you said, he is adapting, and in doing so, he's becoming a lot harder to play against because before, if he bet, you just folded, and now
you got to think.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
All right.
The patented Catman.
Did he just limp?
Yeah.
All
it's
right.
the patented. I do think he's limping with
Uh-oh.
Oh, ATM's gonna run into it. I could see.
Robert
Oh,
comes
this
in.
is.
This is going to be an interesting hand. It may just end pre-flop, but
I don't. I think he could do everything here. Not well, everything other than fold. I think he could raise. I think he could call.
I agree 100%.
Keep his hand under reps because HV's perfectly capable, and you kind of just want to give some of these players sometimes the rope to hang themselves.
I think he's going to, what is that?
That's
11?
1050, and that's
That's
gonna
going
end
to do
it.
it. That's going to be the end of it.
Hell yeah. Limp. Always limp. Always limp. Always work. God, this is so simple.
Did he show or no?
I don't think he should.
I don't think he did. I don't think he should.
That's a good pickup by him though, and he does do a good job of balancing his limping out.
He does.
Once again, I don't know if that's intentional or if he just wants to play hands.
For your information, if I limp raise you,
I know.
always. Oh yeah, you were the one.
I know. I'm the one.
You were the one folding.
I'm one of them.
I got it. Okay. No,
I'm
I
one
don't
of them.
believe you. Okay, no problem.
I really think
Catman letting everybody know he likes to limp aces,
Yeah,
kings,
you were.
and queens,
And
and everyone already knows he loves to limp aces, kings, and
I limp
queens.
40, and then raise a 240 again.
I'm-
Limp 240 again.
It's an
and then
interesting-
re-raise. I'm like, okay, 1500.
It's kind of an interesting dynamic because I'm not real big on doing that. A lot of the hands you cooler, they're gonna naturally play out as coolers anyways.
Right.
So since I want to raise a lot of hands, I'm just gonna keep raising the big
Oh,
ones.
y'all dressing me, huh? I ain't falling to it. I play tight now. I play tight now. Hell yeah.
Set for Logan. I don't see anybody else with.
There's two
Much
middle
of-
pairs, Mo and Catman with middle
Okay.
pair.
Got him.
Got
No
him.
one with a. Oh no, the 6-5.
Most with a spicy one now, yeah.
Robert folds.
How do you feel about Logan's check on the flop?
I like it. I think
That
you should,
many ways? You like?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I don't mind it. There's tons of hands. Like with deuces here, no one raised pre-flop, so it's if it had been a raised
Oh,
pot, you could
he's gonna
treat
get
differently.
paid.
But yeah, he's definitely gonna get paid here. I would like to see him check here. Clubs missed,
Okay.
and you don't get. This is a spot where a lot of your value is going to come from people having hands that are going to need to bluff at it.
That's a little too much, he says. 325. Is he gonna get away from this?
This is incredibly strong.
I would be shocked if he got away from this. You kind of just gotta pay the man.
I agree. You just kind of have to pay him, but this is incredibly strong. It limps around, checks through on
Catman
the flop.
knows, yeah.
You lead turn into everybody on this board, and then you bet over pot on the river. This is incredibly strong. I would have liked to see Logan check call turn, then check river with intention of check raising.
You still think check call on turn is still good with the flush draw? How many people were still in the hand? There were
There's
at least
four
four
other-
players.
four
I mean,
others.
that seems dicey to me. I don't know. Like, I don't doubt that you're correct.
Two
It's just,
of their flush cards are already dead. The king and the six. The king pairs the board
Sure.
free. The six pairs the board.
you just feel so miserable when like the 5 rolls off and the 8-3 makes the straight. You know,
So
there's
the
so many rivers that are just brutal for you.
Yeah, but there are more good rivers than brutal ones.
That's fair. But there's no money in the pot. That's
yeah.
the only thing is like,
You-
what's the
and-
likelihood someone bets when you check? He paid him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is pretty close to the max. I think if Logan had played it the way I would have, which is check call turn, then check raise river, Catman folds.
Of course. Do you think Catman bets more than 325 on the river? I don't think so.
No.
So he probably got.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably got
Yeah,
better value
the
there.
max.
All right.
But Catman knew.
He
that.
knew, of course.
I mean, it's just such an incredibly strong line to take in a limp spot. I think had the pot not been limped, it changes the whole dynamic of the hand, obviously.
Yeah. But don't you think it looks so much stronger if he checks river, Catman bets, and then he raises?
Yeah, but
So it's
it
at
does
that
look
point it
stronger,
comes down
but,
to-
But the reason I say I want him to do that there is a lot of people kind of don't do this when draws like that miss. A lot of your value that you got on the turn was versus those draws. So now when they've missed, those players still have those drawing hands but don't have anything.
any equity.
They are
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to snap fold the river.
That's
when,
fair.
when you
Okay.
bet. And your goal is to Logan would
Logan deuces again.
And your goal is to try and make as much money as possible. And when since it's a limped pot, the ranges aren't very strong here.
This is true. Okay, yeah.
And you just want them to bet it.
Again, I'm not challenging anything.
Oh,
You're saying.
no,
I'm
I'm-
asking questions because it's.
I'm not saying my ways.
I think it is, but again, I just want to.
Robert
try
in the
and
spot
get
here
ahead of
with
you.
the ace-10 offsuit. And that's one of the great things about poker is that you can play hands differently, and there are better ways to play hands, but there's not a right way to play a hand because there's so many different factors in poker. Stack size, what everyone's doing.
It's a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it really is a choose your own adventure. And Robert getting spicy with it with the 4-bet knows Mo is perfectly capable of it. Let's see if Mo can figure this out. I don't think Mo should jam this should back jam this. You're only flipping at best, but most of the time you're dominated. But I don't think our hand is weak enough to fold. I mean, this is another spot where the nip button probably plays more in my head than the actual hand. But when Robert does this with his nip button, I know he's perfectly capable of adjusting to get rid of this nip button. I do think it helps that you get to see what he did it with.
Nice hand.
That's a nice play by Robert. Getting rid of his nip button too.
Hell yeah.
We have 3 nip buttons remaining: ATM, Tropicana, and Tish. Tish is one of the players that we talked about earlier that's just kind of okay losing the nip game. He's not going to let it factor heavily into what he does.
And he's already aggressive enough in the way that he plays that he's going to get rid of his button a decent amount of the time. He doesn't need to adjust what he's doing in an extra
He'll
attempt.
play a little looser, but he's not the player that's going to, absolutely bananas. And it does help, though, in the game when you have a big hand. Pick up ace queen. They get 3 bets in coming from Logan. These two are about to play a big one. Catman.
Uh-oh.
Again, at least, I know he wants to see a flop. He may be disciplined and fold this one.
Okay.
Is disciplined and folds it.
Ace-5 there, okay.
Tish has, I think, everything except for fold. Does make the call.
Chat pros are going wild. Yeah, they're going crazy. MF got Bobby.
What a great flop. To see some action. Check.
What?
Tish
Wasn't expecting that.
turns it. With the ace of hearts in his hand too, knowing he's not really getting free rolled by a lot.
Did he check? Yeah, he checked.
I like the check by Tish. See if Logan wants to rep this. Once again, 3-3 deuce rainbows. It's just such a dry flop. Oh,
baby.
What a great run out for Tish. And this is a spot
He
where
might get called by ace high here sometime.
Tish would be targeting ace high. All the pairs would have bet on the flop. But then you have to think about what other hands Logan has that he would just give up with. And there are lots of hands like 8 high. Something like 8-7 of clubs that has no backdoor.
That's too big.
Yeah, that's incredibly big. I don't know what hands Tish would be bluffing this with. He would bluff it.
Draw, you think?
I think a flush draw would take a different line. This is an interesting spot because you're just gonna get folds out of Logan's hand. Like I said, a hand like 8-7 of clubs, 8-9 of clubs.
On second thought, though, this actually might.
This
is
the
so
hand you're targeting.
polarizing.
This is the
Yeah,
hand you're
yeah.
targeting. You're targeting exactly ace high. But I don't know how many ace highs Logan has.
When he put the money out, it didn't feel great. And now that I'm watching Logan think about this, this actually might be the perfect size.
I think the sizing is great. You're targeting exactly what Logan has. Ace high.
The problem if you're Logan is a lot of times you may be calling just a chop, and you don't. That's an awful spot to be
I
in.
don't think this is ever a chop scenario. In my mind.
Really?
Yeah, you either have the best hand or you don't. I don't mind the fold. The way the hand played out, Tish's range is kind of like that. I do think Tish is able to get away with betting non-queen hands though. Hands like pocket eights, pocket nines, pocket sevens. All of those hands could take that line and target ace high, which is ultimately why I think Logan folded, because there's a ton of value that Tish could be over betting on that river.
I don't doubt that's true. I played a very similar hand with HB actually, where we both had ace high, and he did the same thing, and I was in a brutal spot because, like you said, a lot of times you're calling
to chop, and it's very hard
at best to chop.
Yeah, it's at best to chop,
which is never a great spot.
Robert with a pair. You know what pair we've missed? There's two pairs, really big pairs that haven't been dealt out this entire stream. We haven't seen aces or kings.
No kings, no aces.
No aces, no kings. We've seen queens, jacks, tens.
Which means
nines,
that next
aces.
hand we're gonna.
It's unusual because I feel like they load the stream deck sometimes with aces and kings. We got the dirty diaper for ATM trying to get rid of his knit button.
Great flop for the 2-3 for sure.
Bobby with the betting lead gonna probably just take it away. I don't think ATM is gonna get too tricky.
Crazy right there. I knew you had that from that shit.
All right, so we're almost 50 hands in. We'll be at the halfway point. Yeah, it looks like we're pretty close to the halfway point. So.
Yes, Smudge, good to see you in chat. The other commentator is indeed A-Town.
Smudge, what's up, man? Great to see you.
Alex is joining me in the booth today on a trial basis. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna start putting him in the rotation. It's good to have him on the team.
Smudge, we need to see you over here, buddy. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you in the chat.
It helps to have other people in the booth other than me talking to myself.
Oh, you do a great job.
It's
just
such.
I would imagine it's hard to fill the time, or
something I had to get used to.
Yeah.
Commentating being new to me.
We got another pair here. MF with a real one.
Ace-10 offsuit under the gun +1 is kind of dookie.
Tropicana's been awfully quiet. I don't know if he's
contemplating.
Been
dead. I mean, the big lick is
even the marginal hands that he's had, like the ace-9, he let go of. So I don't think it's bad to be playing the way that he is, especially in this lineup with guys this aggressive. But it'd be nice if we could pick up.
Oh, ATM flopping.
Hello.
Real big.
Hello.
Robert does not want to see an 8.
Oh boy.
Now we get a little dicey. ATM gonna go for a little bit of value now. This is a spot where when you pet, you just want to get called. You never, because if you get raised, you feel like absolute crap. MF gonna fold a straight draw. That's as much as I want to see on it an 8 on the river. For Bobby's sake, I don't want to see an 8 on the river.
As a king,
and
MF would have got there.
Made it.
Did you notice if MF had his button still?
He did not.
Okay.
It's heads up for the mid game.
Oh, Tropicana, and man, Tropicana always finds himself heads up for the. Wow.
I feel like the days that I'm heads up in the knit game, I'm just heads up in all the knit games. It's not just one.
Check all night long. Check. I thought he was gonna show up with ace-10 again.
I got ace-10. You got me out.
Yeah, MF with the.
He's got to let him know. He would have got there. He should be up more.
Catman, the big leader now of 4 grand in this game. Tish HB still throwing the party. Everybody else down a small amount. That's
small for this game.
That's enough they can just change in a single raise pot for.
Thanks for the analysis.
Not a single raise small pot.
Even Tish, I mean, even like as down as he is, I mean, he's literally in this game 1 hand away from being right back in it, and
two hands is all it takes.
For sure. Well, even 1 hand 3 ways, you know.
Yeah,
like
1 hand 3 ways.
You find yourself in a spot with HB and Catman, you're right back in it, you know. Obviously, that's a stretch, but It's possible.
Oh, it's
and we've
more
seen
than
it.
possible. Yeah, we've definitely seen it. Tish,
Ace 10 going around.
limping. My favorite, Mo, you can't fold the 10-7-2. It's my favorite hand. It hurts me as a commentator to see my favorite hand folded so
I mean, he
often.
showed the willingness to play the 7-4 off, and he just throws
Yeah.
the 10-7 in.
It's an, but this is, oh, come on. And he would have flopped the world.
Yikes.
Top pair,
Top pair,
crappy
flush
kicker,
draw.
flush draw. It's Asian top set.
Oh, you guys are going crazy.
ATM with, and this is the splash pot too.
Oh, that's true. That's even more of an argument for Mo getting in there, but you know what? He knows better than me. What he needs to be doing.
ATM way, way, way
As
out
it
the
stands, he would be behind right now, needing help, so maybe he avoided a
There's
tough
no
situation.
7 that can hit the.
The
ATM's
jack
got to be
7.
feeling pretty. I imagine a small value bet here, targeting 7-8, 7-9. Oh,
Oh my god. I'm so embarrassed. That's gonna be on TV. I didn't realize it was
What you at?
Oh, he just made it known that he was unaware that it was a
is
splash
a splash
pot.
pot $10 to win a gajillion? But normally it doesn't. I guess the last splash pot happened too, where they all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever a hand where I'm folding for $10.
There are a lot of hands I would fold for $10.
I'm in there.
The way I started to force myself to fold, the way I started looking at it is, if you call this $10 bet 100 times, you're down $1,000. And when you think about it, you're going to be put in that scenario 100 times.
Sure.
So I'm
If
just
you
trying to
play.
save myself $1,000.
Here we go. Oh, we got a spot here, guys.
Oh, this is a collision course. This is a collision course. Robert playing it safe, knowing HV. I like this.
I do too. You don't want to
All,
start piling in money against HV pre-flop.
HV is also very, very aggressive, so you kind of just want to let him go.
Let him do what he does.
Not a flop you're happy to see. Small sizing is gonna, you're gonna see at least a call. Jack on the turn. Oh, nope. Robert's gonna be done with this.
It depends on what size HV goes with, to be honest with you. If he goes the same size, I could see a world where he steals again.
He's gonna size
But if
up.
you go with the same size, that also looks way strong. Yeah, he's gonna do
HV
it.
targeting an ace. Robert, actually thinking about it.
I mean, HV is exactly the kind of player that could be doing this in your head, so good on him for knowing that. And at least making Robert consider putting the money in here. And he is gonna.
He is gonna get a call.
See, this is what makes HV so great, is that he
knows
his own image.
Yeah. Oh, it's close. Jack would have been.
This is going to be tricky, is how do you get paid one more street? What size would you go here if you were HV?
If I'm bluffing, I'm going to go large. The problem is Robert's stack size is very awkward with it.
That is true, yeah.
So, it's... I don't think... I think the only hand you're worried about is a 9.
Yeah.
You're not worried about aces or kings. You're just worried about a 9. A dry 9.
And the problem with this spot is that the same size
Yeah.
that is most likely to call is the same size that looks super strong, right? So if you go super small, like 250 or 300, that just looks so strong. Or it could be a block bet, you know, it could be... This is...
I don't really think there's a wrong answer other than check.
Yeah, of course. And you know HV is never checking.
Fading the snap, HV is now feeling pretty good about the hand. As long as you fade the snap, you feel great. Because if you get snapped, you're dead. I'm interested.
I would love to know what Robert's thinking about right now. You know,
He's probably
what he's putting
thinking
HV
about
on.
it because he's blocking the straight.
ultimately a good fold.
It's, yeah, and spades miss, but yeah, it's a great fold. HV just playing his image real well. I think the only sizing, the more I think about the hand, is all in, because if you have ace queen, Robert doesn't have ace king very often, and you want him to fold ace queen and ace jack, and that's really a great spot to do it in. And then if you're jamming all those aces, and then you're jamming a couple of bluffs, and then you're obviously jamming aces, ace king, and kings. I don't think HV really has tens ever. He might have, but and then he could jam ace 10 too.
That's true. All right, so. How many hands before you think we start another net game?
I was surprised it didn't start up immediately. ATM gonna get after it though with a dominating hand. Kind of hard to dominate someone with king 6 suited, but he's doing it. Great flop for Mo, betting lead and a flush draw. Bet small. Gets
gonna work.
The superior hand to full.
Basically every card with that card.
MF's gonna open the queen 9. Tish with a real one here. Pocket jacks gonna 3-bet. I don't think MF. Okay, Robert's got a real one. This might bring MF in, but probably not. No, he's gonna let it go. Wow, what a flop. Robert's got a great hand to semi-bluff with. It's going to put Tish in a really tough spot on the turn, depending on what comes here. That's actually a great turn for Tish. What size does Robert go with here? Looks like 500? 375, okay. I think this is a pretty clear-cut call for Tish. We got probably one of the best turns you can ask for. Less likely that Robert has a queen. Fading the river here. And he does not fade the river. What size does Robert choose here? It's just unfortunate for Tish that he ran into this. Oh, he folds immediately. Wow.
Robert picks a nice one. It's kind of a hard board for Robert to be bluffing. So I think Tish's fold makes sense.
What's up, Atypical? Good to see you in the chat.
Hope everyone out there who's watching with us tonight, got a lot of y'all out there, have a good evening watching this nice 2-5-10 no limit hold'em game here at Texas Card House Houston. Got me, DT, in the booth, joined here by new commentator A-Town. Please give your welcomes to A-Town. He's doing a great job.
No, I already got it.
You already got the cash? Or
Yeah,
chips?
I just put it on.
Okay. So
Nines going around tonight.
Just add 5.
Okay.
Still haven't seen aces or kings.
Still a lot of night left. Just unfortunate for Tish, man, that he keeps running into it. Last hand was a perfect spot on the turn, and he just couldn't fade the straight draw or the spade.
Sometimes you just have those nights, and those are the roughest nights where
He's playing great, and that's what makes it so difficult, is that he's doing a lot of things right, and just the deck is not cooperating. HV with a
overpair versus trips. A 6 would be kind of disastrous for HV picking up the extra equity. See how ATM wants to play? Just calls.
I like that.
I like it too. Their ATM doesn't want to lose his customer. HV could have plenty of ace high hands. You want them all to catch a pair. That's too big. I think the sizing is.
What do you think? Half, 3/4?
I don't know. This is an interesting spot. It's all on what you think HV has. If you think he has ace high, he's just gonna fold. I think and he's just gonna fold to any sizing. You just go larger because you want him to call with all his value. So and this is, I mean, a great run out for you. As long as you don't get raised, you're golden. Thanks, Giuseppe. Glad you're having a great time. We're having a great time watching this game. It's been a great game so far. Tons of action. I don't know what bluffs ATM has here if he bets extremely large. You're blocking 9x of diamonds. So like
That's true, the 9, 10,
10, 9 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Then you're blocking all the 10 nines. So yes, he blocks both 9-8 suited combos, which may be factoring into his decision. But that still leaves a ton of 8s, pocket 7s. I mean, if he has 8-6 of clubs, probably get 8-5, 8-7, 8-5 suited, 8-7 suited. Obviously the 8-9 suited, which can't exist. But you know, 8-10 suited, ace-8 suited.
He's thinking about something though.
He's curious. I'd be curious too. And it always sucks because this is a great flop for 9s.
Just a terrible run out.
I don't think the run out's all that relevant. I don't think ATM's floating with queen high very often. I don't think he's floating with king high very often. So you really just I guess you beat 6-5. 6-5 is
yeah, he lets it go.
Yeah, he just lets it go. Catman making some weird car noises. Don't know if
Sounds
y'all
like
can
a
hear
weed
that.
eater.
Yeah, a weed eater. Catman's still the big winner in it, followed by MF. Everyone else just dabbling around with HV and Tish. Having not the greatest night so far. But as we always say, still early in the stream. About halfway through. A little more than halfway through.
What's the line?
Just always astonishing when streams go like this to never see aces or kings.
Let's go.
And I'm going to make a big deal out of it when aces or kings get dealt. Which may not happen. Ace King has been dealt out a lot, actually. And these two are deep enough to where they could adequately go to war with these hands.
Six, 7 suited, obviously not an ideal hand to go heads up with, but with him having the button.
I think, yeah, position everything here. thinking his options through. He might be thinking of doing something disaster.
It looks like he is. Yep.
I
And now he puts himself in a spot where,
you're
depending on what the
exposing your
size
stack.
is,
You're
yeah.
exposing your
Well, if
stack.
this is over 800 or near, it's 630.
Mo doesn't really know a lot about what Logan's been doing tonight, so this to Mo looks incredibly strong.
Do you think there's any world where he just flats out of position?
No,
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either.
Knowing what I've seen of, yeah, he just jams,
Yeah,
and now you just gotta
I think
throw it in immediately.
it's just such a terrible spot to be in when you have not necessarily ace king suited, but let's say Mo had ace king off. I still think the chips would have gotten in the middle by Mo, but
I don't hate that play if you're out of position, but knowing that you have the button, I think that,
you just see a flop.
of course,
You can outplay him. You can navigate just differently.
yeah, putting in 630 and then letting it go immediately is the worst case scenario there. But
Hey, TGM Poker, how you doing? I see you kept the name change from last week. Wes might be in the chat. I haven't seen him so far, but Wes is not in the booth with us tonight. He is out. You've got DT and A-Town in the booth tonight. Now we got a cold 4-bet from Robert, knowing ATM is up to no good and it's going to work. Unless ATM feels a little gambly, which sometimes he did.
he does. I know that he has a tendency to be more willing than a lot of other players to get the money in. Look, there
Oh,
it is.
he is.
This is what I love to see from him. He's got a gut shot now, so
And I would think my diamonds playing too here. I don't think Robert ever has diamonds.
and he goes small. It looks like.
That's super small. ATM,
Yeah.
you have to peel here. I would think every 3 is solid gold, liquid gold for me. Robert
Alright.
needs to fade a 3.
Let's see if we can.
That's
a
great card.
Yeah.
Because not only does it improve the strength of your hand, but it makes it less likely that ATM called with ace queen, another ace jack.
I think that might be a little too much.
Yeah. I don't mind the bet from Robert, 800 into 1,000. Great turn for Robert.
Do you think there's a size he could have chosen where ATM tries
No,
to see
ATM's
whatever?
not-
I didn't think so
ATM's not.
either. So it's kind of
Most
kind of irrelevant.
Most of ATM's hands in that configuration now, once the second ace comes out, are drawing hands in pairs, and you just want to charge them to draw or make them pay to believe you. Of course, once again, the way the hand plays, it's just so hard for ATM to have value and Robert to have flush draws. Mo, after it with the 9-3 suited on the button, raises it up.
Hell yeah.
No one has anything, and that feels good. That feels pretty good whenever. DJ Poker, I will see you here in February. I didn't even know we were gonna have a stop here, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I will be playing in what events I can play, and I will be commentating the rest. So hope you get to play in the final table of an event I'm commentating. Duty King in late position. No one would. A lot of these hands. Oh, ATM with jacks gonna bump it up. Logan has been showing his willingness to gamble all night. He might stray. Yeah, I was gonna say he might stray away from that one. ATM small pickup with the jacks. Jacks is a hand you don't really mind.
Oh no, we draw a seat today.
going to flop with. You also don't mind taking it down. DJ Poker, if you you're just gonna get really frisky with the dirty diaper in all your events.
Big game, boys. Is this MF's?
MF taking his exit in timely fashion. We did see an anomaly last week where he stayed for the whole stream, which I've never seen before. Ever. Hey Bo, A-Town has currently stepped away. He will be back in a second. He is currently disposed of right now. 7-4 off, 7-4 suited in the muck. New Nick game too. HV with an ace. That's all it takes. AT with a different 7-4 suited. And Tish folding the Juggernaut. I mean, DJ Poker, it's hard to make a pair the way the math checks out. So I don't blame you. I personally want to not fold ever, but it's financially irresponsible of me to do that. So I have to fold some of the time. I've been working on it. Anyone else out there in chat land? Just when you hit something, I don't, whether it be a gut shot or bottom pair, it just feels great, and then you have to fold. I know everybody out there feels that pain.
Don't cry.
Low, Jack 9 suited, and the knit button. Definitely opening up that one. Catman with Queen 8 suited, and a knit button. Tish with a great squeeze spot. Just calls. Maybe feeling a little gun shy. He and Mo have a ton of history too, so that would have been a great squeeze. But now we go 5 ways with knit buttons. Mo flopping the best of it as the aggressor. Just checks it through. Still has the best of it, but may not want to stab anymore. It's an interesting spot.
Bo Bowman in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you being here.
A nice delayed C-bet from Mo. Gets rid of the knit button and takes it. Had the best hand though the whole time, so. Mo now up at the top of the leaderboard. Up about a grand. Catman's still the big winner tonight. Everyone else in the red. Not irrecoverable. Still early.
Did we lose MF?
MF, yeah, made his standard exit.
Mr. Consistent.
100% you call aces.
Propaganda with an ace. ATM with a lot of 8-5 suited this time.
I don't know. Usually
Pairs. Logan, we got some sus hands closing the action, but they all got knit buttons, so why not? See, these are and Queen 6 flops big, and now we have a spot where if a 3 hits, the case 3 hits the turn, we have a set, top 2 pair, and a straight.
That would be quite the card.
I don't think Tish is going to make a speculative call. Could be wrong. An 8 would be disastrous.
Spade would be interesting here for ATM's hand. There's a lot of interesting turns. Not that one.
Queen 6 still way in the lead. Feels great when it goes call call. It's a great spot to size up. There's basically you're charging 7, 8, and weak Queen X's. Curious to see what sizing he chooses. Not real worried about hearts. Be more worried about hearts if it wasn't the same as suit as the top pair. I like the sizing. See if Robert wants to draw. A lot of his outs gone from the deck. 3-3's gone, and
You gotta think they're clean though. You know, like if
they are clean. The hearts, I don't think Logan ever has hearts, so I would think they were all my outs are clean. And he makes
a pair.
That shouldn't really change Logan's thought process. But I do like the check because there's a ton of missed hands that need to bet now. 4-3 does get there. Robert gonna take the bait. Not going to work. I do like the bet though. Does get called.
Yeah, you have to try, I think. Unlikely that your 7's good, but well played by Logan on the river there.
Yeah.
Well played by Logan the entire hand,
yeah,
actually.
getting that extra value by checking. Robert would have most certainly folded as he placed the bet. Good at finding that extra value. I do like the bluff from Robert though, because
of course
he could have had 4-3. I don't think he has the gut shot very often unless he has the flush draw too.
But that's even a sizing where you put a lot of hands that even have middle pair or any pair at all. You put him in a tough spot. He has to have 2 pairs specifically.
Yes, two pair or a set specifically,
right.
Because one like.
I guess I
meant
2 pair minimum. Yeah.
Queen Jack is in a nightmare spot on that
of
river
course,
bet.
Of course.
You don't beat any now random river 2 pair beat you. So you have it, and I think the best part about the bet is you get a random 8 fold, or not 8, 10.
MF coming back for something.
MF's normally out of the door by now.
You're in your spot.
He must have left his dinner.
Atypical blackjack. It's I think I'm addicted to poker. That's not a bad thing. You know, I mean, we can give you a number if you need it, but being addicted to poker isn't. Being addicted to 4-card Omaha sweats might be a problem.
Yeah. All right, Catman with a very Catman hand.
Flops the best of it. I like the check behind my ATM. You don't have a spade. There's not a lot of good turns for you. You gonna start bluffing now? Ace high, still pretty good showdown.
Oh, even now.
And
especially now.
River's the best hand. And gets rid of his nib button.
Double straddle for C7.
ATM almost back to even now. Atypical blackjack, I can answer that question for you. He has no cats right now. Catman has no cats. There's a chinchilla, but no cats. You would think that he would have tons. He loves cats. He wants a cat. Doesn't have any. Not right now. Do you have any pets?
I actually just tried to get Catman to adopt 2 of them. We were able to find other homes for them, but he let me know that. Yeah.
The Catman turning down cats. I'm gonna have to give him some shit.
Yeah,
about
he's
that.
definitely a cat lover, but his reasoning for not wanting them was understandable.
I personally cannot take any more cats in. 3 cats is enough right now.
I think you just wanted to hear him say it one more.
Interesting flop, given the holdings. Everybody checks.
Big turn for Tish. Gut shot with unclean gut shot with spades. Catman with way the best of it though.
He's
It's
gonna
gonna be
lead
hard
out.
for Tish to fold this hand to Catman.
There's no way you can fold
Yeah.
here.
Catman can be doing it.
It's time. Tish is due. Maybe
Bingo.
not.
Not.
Oh man.
Checks on river.
Just can't catch a break tonight.
What is a fennec fox? A typical blackjack. I've never heard of. I just know of foxes, so I don't know of any specific breeds of fox.
Fantastic. It smells really good with it.
Everybody eating food now, but let's see if Catman got. Nope, he's got chopsticks. So that's not a finger food.
I guess he is technically using his fingers though. So, oh no.
Oh, that's a spoon.
Oh man, I thought you said he had chopsticks.
He did, but then he pulled out the spoon, so he pump faked me.
Yeah. Have we seen the VPIP stat tonight? I'd be curious to see. Feels like we haven't seen Tropicana in there much. Ace King suited continues to go around the table.
He's been a little quiet. This is the same suit Mo had last time. Let's see if it works for him again. I don't think ATM's folding. ATM doesn't seem to be in a folding mood right now. I don't blame him. This is really strong though. See if ATM can out navigate Mo on non-ace and king high flops or two clubs.
Well, he flops.
He
the
out
best hand.
flops him. Mo 3 betting from the small blind doesn't have a lot of 10x and 9x versus ATM's late position open. So he's really saying I have queens or jacks. A pair of jacks are better. It's a terrible card for both of them. Actually, it's a better card for ATM. ATM has way more flushes.
Just gonna go check or
I think ATM can go both ways. I think he can check or he can start turning his hand into a bluff.
oh wow,
And
he
Mo
gets
just
there with a
rivers it.
straight. Now it's gonna be interesting to see
If he can get value. Yeah.
what size he chooses to try and get value.
I don't think he can check this through. I like the small.
Is that a
The larger
350?
size
Yeah,
one.
it's pretty big.
ATM just instantly mucks. It's a terrible card. He knows it too.
I don't hate to check back on the turn though. It's just unfortunate when the
I don't either.
When the river gets there like
when
that.
you bet the turn, you're really just trying to get him to fold like ace 5 suited, and then ace king. Two hands you have.
you're doing so
incredibly-
great against those.
Yeah,
hands,
you're incredibly
so,
dominating
yeah.
them. So, like
Just
you don't.
unfortunate that
Yeah,
it
you
runs
don't
out that
mind an
way.
ace river.
But he did lose. I mean, a very small amount considering. So no harm in that. It'd be interesting to see if we get the 1 seat filled with someone.
Atypical going to F1 next week. Excited to play some poker Bellagio.
Not gonna have it again.
You hear the poker room is nice. The Bellagio room is nice. I feel like all the big places have kind of nice rooms.
I've never been to Vegas.
You really?
Never been to Vegas. 38 years, never. Ooh, we have a spicy one here.
Oh, Tish and HV. This is gonna clash.
This is a recipe for something big. Do you prefer a 3-bet here from Tish that you can get away from if you get 4-bet, or do you prefer a flat?
I'm flatting. You're in position with a perfectly playable hand. You kind of want to keep Catman in.
See, I guess that was the point in asking the question is, do you want Catman to continue?
And you don't want to narrow HV's range because HV could do this with a ton of hands. I think because of Tish's call, HV's going to play this as a check. Tish has 7s, 5s, 8s. He doesn't really have 9-6 suited very often, but he has 8-7 suited. 9s.
See if Tish can spike a king here. He's
I like the double check again. HV has a hand that can bet, but he's really only going to get one street of betting. So he kind of needs Tish to overvalue his hand, or turn his hand into a bluff like this. And this HV's playing this fantastically. He's going to put in just a call, I imagine. Doesn't want to scare his customer away. And I think there are plenty of hands he could check call with.
I don't know. You tell me how much I owe you.
That wouldn't bet flop.
What time is it? 8:20. See you later.
See how HV wants to do this. Let's see if he wants to let Tish. Oh, he's gonna go for the check raise.
I don't hate this either.
Tish's stack size is also small enough to where there's nothing wrong with this.
Sure. And he instant folds.
You're just gonna try and get the max value from a pair of nines.
I think he got more
Yeah.
playing the way that he did than betting turn and just having him insta fold, and
great-
or just hoping that he raises. You
A
know.
great double check.
Yeah, that was great. Especially on a board that, you know, that wet. But I don't think it connects with a lot of the hands that Tish would be.
I do. I think Tish has 8s, 5s, 7s, 8-7 suited.
That checks back flop.
I think I don't. So the question is, if Tish flops a set of 8s in that position, how often are you betting the flop with air when it checks to you? Because or draws. Like let's say you have 10-9 and you're betting it. So if you're betting it with all of those combinations, then you obviously have to start betting those. But if you start checking back some of those hands, then you can start checking some of your strong hands too. And especially if you think HV has ace king, ace queen, hands that are just going to fold. You want him to hit the pair.
Okay.
So I think
it just seems to me on a board with 3 to a straight out there and a flush draw, it's obviously a little dicey, but I think what you just said makes a lot of sense. All right, we got
a hand brewing now. HV mucking it. Logan calls. Robert gonna. This
gonna
is
bump
so
this up.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna bump it up. Yeah, Catman just jams.
Piles. This actually feels disgusting for Robert with how much money he has. Yeah, he knows it too. And they have each other oversuited, but when you 6-bet here and you get 5-bet shipped on,
Not a good feeling. Yeah.
Your hand shrivels up so this hand shrivels up so bad.
This is where you would love to be like 1K deep, you know, where you can just kind of
shrug your shoulders.
Of
and
course,
call.
even if you think you're behind, it's not that tough of a decision. But he's
Okay,
got. Ooh,
but
he
does make the
call.
call. They're gonna chop it up unless someone gets extremely lucky here. They're going twice.
All right, so it's going to be
No sweat on this board.
spades are getting wasted. So yeah,
Yep, three of Catman's spades wasted.
And it's going to be a chop.
It's a chop pot. Very dramatic.
There it is, in the ocean.
Hell yeah. Let's go. I pulled it.
I like that better. They're swapping the cards around. Ace King of Spades versus Ace King of Hearts.
That's sick, dude. I had a pair of both have ace king and stuff. How'd you guys right away, dude?
DJ Poker plays anything as long as he can get a seat.
How about you, Dave? You ever jump in the 1-2 streets? I don't know that I've ever
I
seen.
played
you.
1-2 today.
Did you? Okay.
I made $50.
Okay.
I am a losing 1-2 player.
You and me both, my friend.
The problem isn't that I don't understand how to beat the game. The problem at 1-2 is they make it $10, and I don't think I can fold for $10 because sometimes that's less than a blind or equivalent to a blind.
We have the exact same mentality when it comes to 1-2, and I just have a hard time letting hands go when I know. I should be, just because it seems so cheap. But in relation to the blinds, it's not cheap.
It's not, yeah.
And I've had a hard time adjusting there. And also, I just like getting in there, you know.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a good mix up. I think the last time I played 1-2 with the Catman, we had an interesting thing where it was there was a limped pot, and I flopped top pair, and then the turn paired my top pair, so I had top tricks. So I checked it instead of weak kicker like a 9 or an 8, and then someone bet full pot. And I called, but it's a big bet. It's a limped pot. It's like $12. And then on the river, he bet full pot again. I went, that's such a big bet. And the Catman couldn't help but laughing because it was like $35.
Yeah.
And I said, that's such a big bet. And in relation to the pot, it is, but
Right.
not in relation to what we're used to. This is funny.
It is funny. It's always interesting to see the Catman at the 1-2 tables. I try to avoid that spot because he has a tendency
To gamble.
to get piles in.
Okay, so what's this?
There are a couple players in the 1-2 game that have mood swings, I guess is the best way to describe it, where sometimes they feel like straight up gambling. They'll buy in for 100 at a time, put it rip 100 free flop every hand.
You know, Catman went all in the dark a couple times the other day, and it just changed the dynamic of the table, and was very hard to navigate. So.
Yeah,
But I try to mix it up a little bit. I like to get in the 1-2 streets, 1-3 streets, and then every now and then we'll play the live stream, take a shot. But these guys are on a different level. Try to stay away from them as much as I can. See if we can find some hands. Oh, there we go.
Aces making their first appearance. Logan. Welcome sight to his sore eyes as he's been getting dealt some napkins and kind of running into it. Deuces for Robert. I don't mind flatting with deuces here. You're going to be in position of the 3-better. HB. Oh, Robert's getting creative here.
If you're Logan, you're loving this.
You're loving this, especially with Robert's willingness to 4-bet side call off ace king. The question here.
How do you play it from here, though?
With Logan's stack size, I'm gonna call here all the time. I don't want Robert to fold ace king, which is what he postured about doing in the previous hand, which is what would factor into my hand.
He does
and
flat.
he does make the call. I love it.
Great play by Logan.
When
It's so hard to do in the moment, but I think it's just oh wow, we get ace high flop, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Is it all spades? Okay, no, this is perfect for him.
And this is, I think.
Oh my god,
no.
maybe not so perfect
The
anymore.
first time aces show up, they just make quads. Logan has to check again.
Well, you thought he could have ace king on the flop, and now you know it's impossible. So, kind of a brutal spot.
I think the only way Logan makes money in this hand is by checking.
What if you bet 100?
Yeah, you can bet small. Bet $100. Try and get a little bit out.
Try and induce,
Yes,
yeah.
try and induce or get a little bit out.
That's what I prefer to do in this spot because I think it's just gonna get checked
This is
back
too
too
big.
often. Yeah, it's not
This
gonna
is too big.
not gonna happen.
I don't mind Robert.
I
giving
appreciate
it-
the try.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just I would opt for something silly like 10% pot, you know, just something.
I think it'd be funny if you bet a quarter. Those bets that just don't make any sense.
Of
like,
course. That's the only way that you can play it because I mean you have everything locked up. So
I love the way Logan's played the hand. I don't mind the half pot bet. You're really hoping he has kings here or queens.
This is true.
He's trying
This
to
is
pay
true.
you off, and those are the two hands that you can really target that would give you the action. But I still think they're gonna fold some of the time, and the smaller sizing is probably gonna. Robert's really agonizing about this though.
he may make a hero call here. I just don't know what. Yeah, this is tricky.
I don't know if this is posturing or a genuine decision.
I think he's thinking about it because
He does
yeah,
make the call.
yeah. It seemed like that's what he was contemplating. Because look, if Logan had ace king ace queen, does he just flat pre, and then does he check the flop? Like the way that he played the hand, obviously knowing what he had makes total sense. When you don't know what he had and you're in Robert's seat, it does kind of throw things off a little bit.
You think he would? I do agree. I don't think he ever has ace king. I think the stack size kind of dictates that. I think ace king would just come in.
And does ace jack call? Was it 600 free flop? Like it's just a really tricky spot.
I mean, it could have been an ace, you know what I mean?
So well played by Logan. He would have made
he got the
$500 more than well, I don't know. Robert's ever just called. Well, who knows? Who knows how it plays out if he bets super small? But we'll never know, and we don't need to know. He got paid the max, and good for him.
Well played by Logan. Yeah, well played.
We have an open to 30 from Catman with a mystery hand.
I always like it. I don't like it when there's multiple mystery hands. I like it when there's one mystery hand.
Absolutely. You know, the WSOP used to do that.
The sweat thing,
yeah. What would you do sort of hand, and I used to love those.
The problem is they never chose really tricky hands. They chose a lot of really straightforward hands.
That's fair.
You could figure it out very easily.
All right, we got some spicy ones here.
It was never like you defended the jack deuce suited in the big blind.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if Catman can connect with this flop, and
That's
he does.
connecting.
Yeah.
Tropicana knows this Catman flop with the jack of spades in his hand. I think I would lean towards a bet with the jack of spades in my hand.
I'm really sorry.
Did he release? No, he didn't release. Okay.
Catman's gonna call.
Very quickly, but you can't feel good if you're Tropicana.
The Catman has such a wide range. This is a terrible card. 8-9, just no waiting.
He won't let me play a hand.
I would. Tropicana knows that this card is terrible for him.
He needs. Yeah,
That's
not help.
not
But
it.
with the jack of spades in your hand, do you think he could try and rep a flush here?
I think he could. I don't think it's wise because the hands you're trying to get to fold is like a 6 pair of 8s, but I think the Catman shows up with a 7 quite often, and I don't think he's gonna fold 8s or 9s, which is the other hands you would. I think a 6 is the only hand that you could get to fold. If you could get 8s or 9s to fold at a reasonable frequency, or like 10x, I don't know what 10x Catman would have, then I think it would be worth betting. I just don't think Catman folds often enough.
All fair points.
You could probably choose some egregiously large sizing and get it through.
I just don't see that as super likely from him specifically, you know. So probably best to just check back there. And
Logan now joining the leaderboard after spending most of the stream in Stucksville. Good to see him up there after playing those aces very well.
yeah, that was something else. Let's see if our boy Tish can bounce back.
C number 6 is folded. C number 7 is made a 30. 8 is folded.
HV,
HV
never
with
seen a suited ace he doesn't like.
C number 9 is
Neither have I. So, ATM with a reasonable hand. Logan folding the deuces. Mo folding the crabs.
Wow.
Now we got a fair fight. See how HV wants to play this. He's gonna 4-bet.
C number 7 is made at 430.
It's an interesting 4-bet because ATM doesn't like to fold,
This is true.
especially in position.
Especially against HV.
Yeah, and especially against HV. These two players have a ton, and when I say a ton, I mean like these are the HV and ATM are the before they played these stakes, they played 1-3 with each other for hours upon hours every week. So they know each other. They still play hours upon hours with each other every week.
Now, is this better to do out of position, like he did, or what I'm saying is, if he was on the button, do you prefer flat? Yeah,
You see position. And ATM flops way the best of it now. and he is not going to fold. It's not a great flop for HV. You don't have backdoor hearts. Your backdoor straight's kind of muddied because he's going to have a lot of value when you make it. When you're going to have to get through.
HV does not like to give up, though.
I don't think he should. You're hoping he has king, queen, king, jack, because those hands should fold. Will fold this flop some of the time with some frequency. Top pair, good kicker.
Not happening.
Backdoor flush draw, no. Yep.
Just a flat. Uh-oh.
Now
Double
HV
gutter,
with the
right?
double gutter.
Perfect.
But the thing is, HV wants the additional fold equity from betting this turn, and I don't think there is any. The hands that ATM continues with are all smashing this. Top pair is not like 10-9 is in great shape against HV's hand. Pocket nines.
He goes check, check, so he okay.
No improvement.
Gave himself a shot, though.
I don't mind ATM's check either. You're either way
Not
ahead
at
or way
all.
behind.
Not at all.
Play some rivers. And this is a spot where HV bets you call. Doesn't matter the amount. You just have to flick it in. I think a queen...
And HV will put you in some spots here.
And that's
He's
why.
well known for that.
and that's why, because he's notorious for putting people in these spots.
He's just fearless. Yeah, here he goes.
Yep.
This is a great bet. It may not work, but I mean, this is the only chance that you have to win this hand, so...
And as ATM, the only hand you're really afraid of is Ace-Jack. Ace-Jack and Pocket Jacks. I think HV is just gonna go 3 streets with aces, kings, and queens, because Matt's just gonna have a ton of pairs.
Do you think if HV had king jack or queen jack of spades that he would have checked the turn?
No,
I don't think so either. That's why
he
ace
bet
jack
turn.
is specifically yeah, that makes sense.
I do think on this river specifically, you just kind of, like I said, you just shrug your shoulders and flick in the call when you've made it this far.
It's easier said than done, but I think you're right. I think you're right.
I will say I do this a lot. And that doesn't mean I always end up being right.
Well, you're not always going to be right, but you seem to be right often enough to be profitable.
I do think if it's a shove, I think the call is easier than if it's.
I agree with that.
This bet.
And I think HV also knows that, which is why he chose his sizing. Yeah, it's such a next level play by him.
Jack 10 suited could also play this hand this way, but you block it, so there's only one Jack 10 suited left.
Jack 10 clubs, yeah.
I guess the other hand HV could have is Ace 10. Ace 10 would play this way.
You think Ace 10 would bet?
I think
this
Ace
big on
10
the
would check turn, and I think Ace 10 could bet the river.
Okay.
When ATM checks behind.
That's fair. I feel like it's less likely with that hand specifically, but I mean, it's certainly possible. Yeah, HV is known for getting value with hands like that, even on boards like this. Let's see what he does.
ATM in the blender. I mean, this is a tough one.
This may take a minute.
I mean,
yeah.
this is a tough one. He's got the call money ready. He knows.
I think he senses that.
Yeah,
he's
he knows.
good.
I mean, like I said, these players have so much history with each other. I do think King 10 is a better call than, say, like 10-9. You want to randomly block kings. And maybe King Jack in the random chance.
What do you feel about this comment by DJ? He says if HV would have bet in the dark, ATM would have folded.
I don't think that changes anything.
Yeah.
I think betting the.
I don't know that HV would ever bet in the dark to begin with.
I don't think he would.
Right.
I actually think betting in the dark.
It's not his style, but
betting in the dark in a pot like this.
He lets it
and
go.
he gets it through.
Wow.
They don't allow you even to board game?
He's gonna show it.
What a great play.
Good play on HV. Picks that up. ATM kicking and screaming in the back. You can hear it.
Call button.
He had the chips in
Oh,
hand. He
man.
wanted to call.
Such a bad feeling, man.
He's gonna get
Oh, yeah.
HV digging himself out from that hole with that. Now, not stuck 4 digits anymore.
I've been punished for my oopses today.
What did he say?
Tish saying he's been punished for his oopses today. He kind of wished HV had gotten punished for his oopses too.
Oh man, he just wants misery loves company.
Yeah,
you know,
misery
he's-
loves company, especially when you know that company really well. And the double straddle's on now too. There's still 2 players left in this Nick game.
I didn't
Robert
even
and
realize there
Tish,
was
I
a Nick game
didn't
going
realize
on.
it
Oh
either.
my goodness.
I got both of the
Do you think now that we have that context, do you think that played into why Robert called with the deuces earlier? Does that have any effect?
I think when it's big hand versus big hand, then the game, in the way that hand played out, it does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
It
Okay.
does not matter.
See, I'm more likely to hero if I still have.
I am, but it's in single raised pots, not
That's fair.
not 3 and 4 bit pots.
That's a good point.
Because for people to be getting, like, people would just have to be getting way out of line because of the knit button, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that by just calling $600 pre-flop. I'm not saying they're not capable of bluffing it. I'm just saying that they're not going to get. He's never going to show up with the Jack-8 offsuit.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. Whereas in a single race spot, someone can have the Jack-8 offsuit. And now HV with open ender versus his Tish's top pair, top kicker. They're going to collide. Open ender and an over. Great card for Tish. Tish going to continue to bet for value and equity to now. Lots of 7/8s, 7/4s out there. Worst 6s, definitely for sure. I think he can go large here too, because he's going to have 7/8.
If he does go large, do you think HP continues more often than not, or do you think that he can let it go?
Tish's stack is in such a weird spot. It says he has 1,000, but
That's
I think
true.
he's got
I just
1,000.
noticed that,
I
yeah.
actually think he has 1,000 more than that because there's a yellow chip back there. So I think he's got 2,000. But I like this pot size bet. It's tough. The question is, do you get paid? One of the answers is if he has exactly 7/8 and you hit an 8. Do you get to get max value from an 8? And I think some of the time you do. So I may peel here. The problem is when a 3 comes, you're not really gonna get paid.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just lets it go.
And that resolves the NIT game. Robert losing the NIT game.
King high. I just don't want to punish you. You were gonna get punished. Probably.
Avoid the lines on Black Friday and battle for a piece of $100,000. Texas Card House Houston presents the $100,000 Guaranteed Black Friday Tournament. $400 buy-in, cards in the air at noon, plus a massive Black Friday sale on time. For full details, visit TexasCardHouse.com.
Black Friday tournament's going to be pretty nice. Looking forward to 100K one day, $400 buy-in. I'll take a shot at that. And if I don't make the final table, I'll watch it with y'all. Talk it through with y'all.
You're down to 40. Pretty good.
Should be fun. Great value tournament. I like the one days better too because it's just done. This, I believe, will be the bomb pot. Or not bomb pot,
The
splash
splash
pot.
pot, yes.
2 fold, 3 fold,
Not a lot of limping this time. Bobby, gotta get after his own money.
40,
Bump it up a little bit.
5 folds, 6 folds.
HV, not letting that money go for free. Oh, I
Oh, they're
believe
still heads
they're
up.
still
Okay.
heads up. Who else has the button?
Tropicana again? And Robert?
Oh.
Robert.
And this is, yep. Oh, no give up. Not gonna let Robert have it for free. Great turn for Robert.
7 check, 4 check.
Magic, go check, yep. Great.
This is a great
river for Robert. I would like to see Robert bet this river, even though he's be bluffing with the best hand.
7 check, 4 check shows.
Does turn it over, gets rid of his hit button.
Troy just sighs and throws the money in
Thank you.
for the splash pot.
Whenever I see the other person in the hand, I just get the 200 ready. I don't.
Yeah.
It's gone. In my mind, it's gone.
You need a
500
one-outer,
lost,
yeah, in your head. You're 5% to not pay the tax.
Race draw for 20. 99.
All right, let's get some interesting combos in here.
You folded and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a walk here. And I said 6.
It's interesting. The money's done just a little bit of shifting, but not a lot of shifting. Like, we've had some medium-sized pots, but only the couple big ones. I mean, there've been some collisions though.
Still have 1 hour left.
Yeah, that we do. Hopefully, we can find another player to join this game.
2. Got it?
Yep.
2 folds.
Tish with 4 high out of there.
Races to 60.
And this race sizing just isn't appropriate for the because you're
Correct. I agree. What do you think a standard open is if you're going to open with a hand like this? You think it's like 160?
150 to 200. You need to get closer to the pot. You need to let people like 7-6 offsuit getting into this for $60 is absurd. I mean, it's 60 to win 320 plus whatever the blinds were.
King 10 flops nice here.
3 check.
I think this is a slam dunk.
You gotta
Yeah,
bet
you
that.
gotta bet it. If not the flop, I think a delayed C bet is okay. Mo is with the gut shot now. I think he's gonna step at this, and I think he should.
5 bets.
It's a great size too.
Half pot. Really just folding out equities. If we're gonna continue to the
You
sizing,
need to be
we
betting.
need to be betting. Yeah, I agree. Ace high, way the best hand. Now gonna get to showdown.
Check, and take it maybe. Yeah.
And Logan's
Great
gonna
hand
feel,
for Mo, man.
Yeah,
That-
Logan's gonna feel disgusting because
Mo would have to fold the flop,
Mo can't continue the flop unless
but once
he
you see
plans on
that
bluffing
turn,
clubs.
right?
But I think the sizing was just gonna get a fold out of Mo. I mean, there's 600 in the middle. You bet 300 bucks, like Mo did on the turn. Mo
Right.
can't continue with that. The stack depth just isn't there.
See your 4? I didn't even see
Wait,
that.
no, I'm leaving in like 10 minutes.
Logan, I believe I heard, said he's gonna leave in just a little bit. We were glad to have him on the stream.
I'm trying to leave like 9. I don't even know what time it is.
It is 9. That's what time it is.
That's poker player time for you in
Yeah.
a nutshell. I'm trying to leave at 9. Well, it's 9:05. That means he's got about 30 minutes to an hour left.
I can just play 2 more hands.
Poker player time.
You don't know what? He lost 8 last time.
I think the last time I stayed here super late, I said I need to be out of here by midnight, and I left at 2:30.
You would lose the mid game.
Pretty standard. Pretty standard. All right, we got a queen jack suited here.
5 folds, 6 folds.
We've not seen a lot of another queen jack suited. We've not seen a lot of
Aggressive 3 betting,
correct.
which is normally typical. I mean, HV of course used to it. He plays, but you're right.
This game is sorely missing Juicy tonight.
Juicy. A-Town says he misses you. I mean, I miss you too, but we're going 3 ways. 2 queen jack suited for king 10, so either of these players flop 2 pair.
What an interesting flop! Wow.
This is a flop too. Top pair, gut shot versus open ender. I think I like Robert's check behind, and just drills it. The best hand.
7 check.
I think this is. I honestly think this is gonna check through again. Logan's you're kind of turning your hand into a bluff. I think HV is gonna check aces and ace king here on the flop a lot, even kings.
How do you feel about this turn bet from Logan?
I do not.
I'm
like
not
it.
a fan. I mean, look. I think if you're gonna make the bet, it probably should have happened on the flop.
I think when HV checks you, I like betting on the flop because Robert has a lot of hands that you can get value from that are worse. And then HV, you want to kind of fold out HV's equity, like ace, king, king, queen. HV thinking about making a move?
Just to be fair to Logan, I wasn't a fan of the 600 with the aces on the river, and it was correct. So I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong. It's just correct.
And this doesn't, to me, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't think HV would double check queen 10 if he did have queen 10. I don't think he would double check a set of jacks. I think the only hand he's really representing is 2 kings.
You don't think he could double check queen 10 on a rainbow board like this?
I don't think he would.
It would. That's
not
different.
I think heads up he's much more likely.
Okay.
I think 3 ways he's going to try and go for value on that turn because that's a great turn to go for value on. It's still rainbow. Top pair is going to connect with a ton of people. King, queen. I mean, you have it. Even king, jack, they could have checked back, or a slow played ace, king. So there's tons of value. I like the gung ho-ness by HV's bet, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I still think it's going to work. With Logan, at
Robert
least.
has too much hand to fold for this price. You have top pair. You beat all of HV's semi-bluffs because he never. So HV never. I don't think ever has ace king here. He just doesn't.
Right.
His hand's too strong to turn into a bluff. It is too. It's also too weak to raise for value. So raising it would turn it into a bluff.
He's going to put the money in.
And
I mean, if he's calling with deuces on the other board, he's calling with top pair and a straight
like
draw
this.
here.
I like this call by Robert. And once again, this is a spot where
okay, now it's locked up. But it would have been interesting to see like a deuce of any brick on the river, because that's where HV really shines, is when he's able to put pressure. Unfortunately, if you were to try that here.
I do not like that.
I'm not a fan of that either. But you don't want to get blown off your equity. If,
I don't think so either, but I think there's value to be had. I think HV could also still show up with aces. I think aces are a better candidate than ace king because there's more random kings to be had. And a lot of the hands that would bet flop like ace jack wouldn't do it. I guess HV could do it with ace king occasionally, but he would bet the river. I don't think he's ever going to check it. Do you? Because there's, once again, a ton of value to be had.
Of course. I don't think he ever checks there.
King, queen with the same argument. But
when there's that much money in the middle, actually, like I said, sure, there's value to be had, but like in the few spots where you're beat, you just prevent yourself from losing anymore. And there's enough in the middle already where you just prevent yourself from getting put in any weird spots. Yeah. I actually think it's fine.
I don't mind it. Thin value I like.
7 raised to 30. 8 folds.
I would have really thought it would have been interesting if Logan had bet the flop, because I think HV's check raise is just much better on that flop. Just much better check raise on the flop instead of the turn.
Both players get a little piece here.
These players like to battle, so no
we got the Catman
fold.
back also. Good to see him back.
Tish not folding middle pair, top kicker. HV betting bottom pair. No kicker.
Three is departing.
Oh, C3 is, looks like Logan is headed out.
Thank you for joining us this evening, Logan. It was a pleasure having you on stream. Look who it is. Wesley Tucker, live and well in the chat. How you doing, Wes?
Wes, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Glad to see you there in the chat. Hope you're having a good evening tonight. See if HV wants to put on the pressure. He does. Ace Jack looking real dookie now, especially to an overbet. Tish does not want to be sticky. Glad to hear. Glad to hear.
Wes, I'm doing my best impression, trying to fill your shoes, but those are big shoes to fill, sir. No pun intended. Hope you're feeling better, buddy.
Or pun intended? I don't know. Wes has got some pretty big shoes. That's tiny ass feet. There's the PFR. Oh, we just missed the VPIP. I know you were asking for that. We missed the VPIP. It was.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, 16 and
This is the
16.
PFR.
Wow, surprising to see ATM at such a and Catman.
These are PFR. The refall players, not VPIP. So.
Oh, okay, okay. There's the kings we've been waiting for, and he flat.
7 raised to 50, 8 folds.
Wes, we do know what big shoes means. It means that it costs more money for you to get shoes because they're larger. Is that actually true? Do larger?
I don't believe so. Only when you get like Shaq feet,
Yeah, Shaq
and you have to get custom shoes. Does that apply? Tish has a hand that I like here.
Six
It's gonna,
raised.
Hell yeah.
200.
Yeah.
and Catman going for the same play he went for before. You think HV? Yep. HV loves to see flops.
Calls, 2 folds.
And this is a spot where if he connects somehow, gonna put Catman in a. Yep. He connects.
Oh,
That would have been a great flop for Tish. Not a great flop, but that would have been
these two are incredibly
an
deep.
interesting flop.
This could be.
This could be big.
Yeah.
That's 200.
HB not calling with the 6-2 to not continue when he flops a piece.
If that 5 were a club, this would be a little bit spicier. But
Yazzie McGee asking if that's Doug commentating. No, neither of us are Doug, but I am GT, and this is A-Town. We are here for your viewing pleasure. Or listening pleasure, probably. Not viewing, you can't see us. Yeah, listening pleasure.
do we know who Doug is?
Huh?
Do we know who Doug is?
No.
I'm not familiar. I'm sure he's a great guy.
Yeah, probably a great guy. And a great turn for the Catman. Although, it's interesting because if HB has a deuce here, that means he could very easily have a 5. It's all good, Yazzie. We were just joking around.
Thank you for your service. I love it.
This would be a
You think
great
he's gonna
spot
call
for a
here?
raise. But he's just a non-believer.
Interesting. Okay, we got a big one brewing.
And that's another great card for the Catman. I'd be very comfortable right now if I were the Catman. I
No
wouldn't be
reason
worried
not
about
to be.
jacks. I wouldn't be worried about queens.
Not at all.
I'd be worried about a 5. That's 5 and deuces.
We saw this same situation a few weeks back when ATM had the kings and HV had a 5, and he's very tricky in that regard. It's very hard to play, even these big hands against him, because he's got all board textures covered.
I would like to see a very big bet placed here from the Catman. It
Very big meaning 1600. Very
yeah,
big meaning
1600. You know, 2/3 pot up. Just it kind of handcuffs what HV can do in the hand, because jacks can be in Catman's range, queens can be in Catman's range. Of course, you can have aces and kings.
That
Good
is
sizing.
about the size we thought he was going to go. 50 and 60, it looks like.
Yeah.
I like this.
And Catman just doesn't want to hear the words raised, but I don't think HV's hand is This would be an absolutely disgusting bluff.
If he were to say the word raise,
It's
do you
all of
think it's what?
It's all of it.
Okay.
It's the only sizing.
I'm saying from Catman's perspective, is this a snap? I don't think it can be, given that he can have the 5, you know. So
it's tough. It's how often do you think HV is bluffing? This just comes down to a bluffing frequency thing. What five? Like HV can have a ton of 5s, but then the question is, do you think HV would jump Ace 5?
I think he has to, right? No.
Kind of. It's weird, like I said, because
He can have jacks. He can have
have queens. And I think Ace 5 here, as crazy as it is just a call on this river.
Do you think he ever heroes here?
That's a more interesting question.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see, because
Ace
we've
king?
seen him be very deliberate and very thoughtful in his river decisions, but generally with hands this week, he'll ultimately let them go. But I have seen him put the money in.
This is interesting because the hand that he beats, and this is what I don't like doing, is I think you have Ace King of Diamonds. That is the exact hand that he beats. The way Catman played this.
Of course. He's going to let it go, it looks like.
It does fold.
HV giving him nothing.
He's accidentally showing him both kings, meant to show him
Just one. There's the King of
one,
Diamonds,
King of
right?
Diamonds.
Yeah.
One last game, I guess.
They're gonna play
Nick
one more
game?
Nick game for us.
All right.
Wes, you're right.
45 minutes. What does Wes say?
Y'all like me, we have the perfect basis for radio.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the radio voice like you do, Wes, but
No,
doing
Wes
the
has
best.
got that.
He's got the perfect stream radio.
Alright, Tim, I want to see the Limp Brewery's bluff.
I still can't believe he hit quad.
I
calmed him down.
Yeah. Usually the bounce for you. What'd you call me?
I had twos.
Twos?
It's good that Robert's able to have a laugh about that. He called the nuts with
the quad. Well, with the
nut
deuces.
low, basically.
Yeah. But I respect it, man.
I do. I'm gonna give him lots of props for that call.
I like giving him no credit. That's just me. That's me. Look what you read.
Oh,
Soul read.
not defending that versus HB. HB get a walk.
Unbelievable.
That's unfathomable.
Your two pairs pretty good so far.
See you, Wes. Take care. Have a good evening. Hope your recovery speeds up.
Hope to see you soon, bud.
Peace.
What's you call?
Catman now way up there. 5.4K. Mo winning. Do everybody else in the red.
Correct.
I thought he was just messing kind of with you. It wouldn't be putting me on a hand, so that's why I raised him before the flop. He just spoofed all me.
The table dynamics do wonders in these games. Just, I thought you had a hand that because you thought he had this hand.
You got to open the 7-9 there.
I think so too. In this game with the Nick game on,
I think so.
9-7 speeches.
Did you think about jamming?
Also, like, my third favorite hand. But regardless of that, with the Nick game on, I think even an open. Well, okay, the double straddle's on.
Even with the double straddle.
What do you open to like 80?
No, you can make it 50, 60. It's
six-fold.
It's just about establishing.
You want to be the aggressor.
Sure.
You want to play the hand in position. So anyone you can weed out is great.
9-7 spades. Not going to connect here. So King Queen crushes.
Way ahead. Robert could turn his hand into a bluff. Probably wouldn't work.
7 bet 100.
Top two, definitely going to bet for value. And we have a gut shot. I was going to say a 7 would have been interesting because then we would have had.
You have the sneaky open ender for double gutter. Well, it's an open ender.
It would have been open ender.
7 bets 375.
Real big for value.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. 275.
I think because of the King 10 call, is really hoping Robert has a similar hand. King 10, King Jack, Queen 10, Queen Jack, and we'll call one more street. He's not going to get 3 streets of value.
Just one button.
Oh, looks like we might have another player.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he's coming in.
Oh,
We have a player who's game. I like it.
Is he gonna take a button?
I mean, we only have one button down right now, so
HV got a walk, and then he won with King Queen. So yeah. I always like it when there's only 1 or 2 buttons out there. Damn, whatever, give me a button.
of course.
I think so.
Sure beats waiting 40 minutes for the Nick game to end, you know, so just get in there.
I'm still waiting for someone to come in and buy in for 100K. It's
I'm
an
sure it'll
uncapped
happen
game.
at some
It's-
point. I'm
it's
sure.
gonna have. I've said if I win the lottery, I'm gonna come and buy into the game for 100K, and then I'm gonna do whatever I feel like doing. Y'all are gonna have a great time.
I look forward to it. Hopefully I'm at the table when that happens.
4 raised.
You have to buy lottery tickets to win the lottery, though.
Yeah, that's true. I only buy them in pools when people are like, "Hey, we're." Even though I know mathematically it really doesn't matter.
Doesn't change the odds that much. All right.
Oh, a big pickup, big turn for Robert. Little does he know he has the best hand, and he no longer has the best hand.
4 check.
That's a great way to get rid of your nib button. Just be a river with $30 in and E5 cards.
Are you familiar with the gentleman's seat one? I'm not sure that I've ever seen it
No.
before.
I played briefly with him in 1-2 today.
Okay.
So maybe he spun it up in 1-2 and
When you take down
now he's taking a shot. I hope so.
You don't have to get the showdown.
You're welcome.
As long as you wing a pot, show your hand, then you get rid of the lid button. Right. If you are the last one who's holding
One
it,
we have
you
Michael
take 200 penalty for the
buying it
splash
for
button.
a respectable
You have a
$1,000.
chance to get it back. And just in case that any players that pass out but still holding a lid button, and they decide not to return back to the game, you still need to pay the fee. Okay. Yeah.
Explaining the intricacies of the new game. We have unfortunately had players not quite understand the rules
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
and not decline to pay after busting. But it's a game. You choose to play it, but we do understand sometimes it's explained poorly, and we're glad that the Catman was explaining it fully. Michael just right out of the bat.
We get rid of the nip.
Almost.
All that time explaining it.
Nice try.
Oh, you know what? I don't remember.
I feel like this happens a lot though, where they just raise and take it. ATM gonna check, and if Michael bets, he breathes at it.
9 check.
He's gonna breathe at it.
This is gonna work.
Oh, and he wins.
Oh, don't worry about
Somebody's gonna get a button, right? Oh,
the last
no.
time we tell you to show.
Yeah.
So if it's your first time, you get
All right.
you get a pass.
That one doesn't.
Everybody knows when I get
Give Robert another one. Give Robert another one.
I feel like it's okay. If it's your first time.
Of course.
We did.
Yeah, but it's first. Yeah, I get it.
It's okay.
But yeah, it's normally
We'll give you a
when
pass,
players
too.
forget to show, you see the whole
I
table
do
is quiet.
think it's
So
funny
wait for you to mark.
when we tried playing it
And
in
when
the
you mark,
back room,
like, yes!
where if you remind someone to show, you get another nib button.
Right. That's what I thought was about to
Yeah.
happen, but seems like a fair way to resolve it. The way
No,
that
this is yeah.
given that this
Well,
is
it's
just
up if you
experience
like
with
to.
Nick
It's
game.
up to you. Yeah.
20 is.
You can straddle whoever you like. Yes.
1 fold, 2
If you
fold.
feel like something.
Uncapped game, straddle whatever you want. This has actually been pretty tame today. We've only seen it go up to the 25. We haven't seen anything outrageous.
No $100 straddles from Catman. No
It's kind of
3 and 4 straddles. It is unusual, but you know.
What's the largest straddle
You
you
have
were
folds in there?
a part of?
So when Moneymaker came, we did. So it was 5
On the way home, I'm gonna be
320?
enjoying that.
and I picked up aces.
I didn't know that Tim
Yeah,
had folds.
it was a weird spot.
Aces, kings, and ace king.
It was a weird spot because I jammed because I was pretty short, but I think the move was
It's not even a
at
reason.
hindsight.
Against Robert,
There were a few hands that would have opened,
HV,
and I would have gotten paid. But as it was, I raised or jammed, and everyone folded. But yeah, that was it was still a very cool experience because A, I got to play with Moneymaker, and B, picked up aces in the biggest straddle situation I've ever seen. So can't complain.
Can't complain. Never complain.
7 raise 50.
Oh, HB was my favorite hand. He's been watching the stream. He knows he can't fold.
Okay, here we go. Making mystery cards. It looks like we have quite a few mystery hands.
Do the right button.
It's gonna work.
Oh, he faked me out for sure. What did he show? I don't know that we'll ever know. That's all right.
I saw at least an ace. So
For him to shove there, he needs to have, not needs to, but it's likely that he had, yeah.
nice.
I would have liked to see him play a pot though, just given that
Oh yeah, right there. Yeah.
we're running short on time.
I think
He just doesn't want to lose the Nick game at this point, maybe.
not losing the Nick game and then not wanting to play out of position with HB. HB opened the button and he was a small blind.
That makes sense.
So
Okay.
I don't mind the shove. Not the worst. As long as you don't run into aces, you're 30%.
That's fair. That's fair.
Got it?
All right, 10's for Mo.
He did not fold.
Anyone else can find anything.
I hope he didn't fold.
I don't believe you folded.
1 fold.
I mean, what?
8.
He doesn't have cards,
He doesn't have cards, so we might have had a card read error.
75.
which is one of the few. Tish here with the ace-4.
I
hope he doesn't take a
actually
flop
like
here.
this as a limp 3-bet, not a limp call. Even though we can see the hands.
Of course.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
I like to
yeah.
commentate as if you don't know.
Yeah, if
you
I don't know,
Of
'cause
course.
it's just gonna be so hard for us to realize our equity, and obviously he's run into it. But this is gonna work a lot of the time.
You're just going to get instant
He's just gonna instantly
4-bet.
4-bet and then be like,
So
yep,
brutal.
there goes.
I mean, he's just... so many rough spots where, I mean, he's doing, like you said, he's making the right plays. It's just...
I don't disagree with that play. I thought it was
It's
it's
fine.
very standard, normal. If I was gonna limp the ace-4, not open it, I would just I think that line's perfectly fine.
I like to see Tish find a good spot here, though. You know, he still has a button. We have a button. That would just be the cherry on top of what's been a pretty bad night. He loses the last Nick game.
And it's
But he's
good
doing
to-
everything he can do to get rid of it, you know?
It's good to see that Tish is still smiling and having a fun time.
Of
because
course, yeah.
It's when you're stuck heaps like that. It's all about mental and getting unstuck like this. And if you kind of think that everything bad is gonna happen to you, sometimes you kind of just
Manifest that.
Yeah, manifest it by playing like that.
Oh, we have a spot here. We have a spot, and I think that given... Well, maybe Catman will play it a little
think
tame,
different
given
kinds
that
of-
it's Troy.
And he doesn't have a nip button.
But in general, this is the guy that you want to have ace-king versus ace-queen against,
Yeah.
so we'll see how this plays. Just looks like a call, so let's see if we can get
I don't think
an interesting
without a
flop.
nip button, the Catman's never gonna.
Oh
if
my
this is
goodness.
the spot you want.
Well, I think the money is going to find its way in. Probably not on the flop. Did we just go check that? Okay.
Tropicana? No.
8 bets 125.
It's going to be interesting to see if a diamond or a 10 or obviously a queen rolls off on the turn.
I think a jack would be.
The jack would be kind of spicy. Oh my goodness.
No, domination rotation. Catman not really worried about diamonds once the queen of diamonds rolls off, because now Tropicana's restricted to just king 10, king jack of diamonds. I like the check back by Tropicana.
You have to. Now you can potentially bluff with this. I don't think you will. But I think.
I think.
Hell yeah.
I think there's no reason to bluff at it whatsoever.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
just
shit, Troy got ace queen. Holy shit. Give me a blank river. I get him. Nope.
Catman doing Catman thing.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
This
ATM saying what we're all thinking.
Catman doing Catman things.
Check all night. Check.
Unfortunate.
Always hard for you to
That's,
do,
I mean,
bro.
this is what you
Only my
want.
queens, kings, aces.
Of course.
Catman, yeah.
It's like Tropicana and Bishop had similar sort of experience. They've done a lot of right.
You're going on monkey
They
too.
pick their spots pretty well, and it's just
Oh god.
Unfortunate run.
yeah.
Sometimes unfortunate card distribution.
To be fair, Tropicana did everything he could on the turn. He checked back turn.
No,
He was
what I was
fine. Which
thinking.
is exactly what you need to be doing there.
When the queen came out, I'm like,
It's interesting with the stack size that he's opening the 7
what did he go for?
because
But I was thinking, I'm like, well,
I think the only thing you can do here is put the money in.
15.
Oh, especially after Robert.
You have to do here.
Yeah, this is gonna. This with a button is gonna be getting so light here.
Yes, I am.
You just have to flip.
I mean, and it turns out that he's in a fine spot. I think we saw another ace get folded.
And
I
we saw
think
7 get folded too.
so. I mean, he's in a pretty fair spot here.
I
Wait.
think the best part about this is if you do shove, you're gonna get king jack.
Right here. Say one
Oh,
more
he's gonna let it
one
go.
more time.
Feed him up. And now Robert and Tish gonna play blind versus blind effectively.
Oh, no. I buy you
Sevens would have been strong on this board. In Tish's mind, when Robert cold calls, he's gonna have a strong hand here. He has a lot weak, is a lot weaker than he should have here.
I'm going with 1-2.
But
Let's see if the club or a 10 or
even if the
jack.
club does, I would like to see Robert bet.
You're going to play 1-2?
I would love to see him bet this turn.
Yeah. Why? Bankroll challenge?
Bankroll challenge.
Hey, it could be fun. Let's all do it.
Sevens, ironically, also still way out.
8, 9, 18, 10.
He's always winning 1-2.
No, the jack didn't do it.
Jack makes
Oh,
it
straight.
1-2 game.
Good fold by Tropicana.
But
I'm
he
sure.
still would have held versus ace king.
Oh, the ace 10. Yeah,
If you
oh,
lose 10,000, you're out.
You lose 2,000.
if Tish flats 3, this thing might be
That'd be
long,
so
but
sick.
I'll take that challenge.
it's alright.
You're like, hey, how'd you do today?
Just
How'd
thinking
you
what
do today?
Robert
I'm upset.
has.
How you think? I'm down 27. Fuck!
And
All
blocking
your money
nuts,
is on
he's
me.
gonna go for it.
2 bets.
And Robert has it.
It's alright.
No, if you minus 2,000, you're out.
He might be thinking about raising, but I
I don't think the raise
I don't
is
think
ideal.
exactly. I actually think you should
do a
check raise him and backs a lot.
And then we pull a leaderboard out. No, not live stream.
I think our hands
You're not
obviously
playing against.
too strong to fold.
Let's do 1, 2 stream, but everybody minus 300. Everybody put 1,000 on the side. So whoever the big winners.
Gotta respect Tish for continuing to go for it.
I do.
Oh,
It takes a lot of willpower to get him
Oh,
off.
fuck yeah!
300 cap.
Yeah, 300 cap, and you got 1,000 voted.
Yeah, he's pretty dejected. I get it.
It kind of feels like a mid roll.
Just a regular
You understand that he was
Yeah.
probably thinking about raising. I don't think he was ever thinking about just.
If you pass out 1,000, you're out.
Yeah, you get shown that hand.
Sorry.
If you lose 1,000, you're out.
Bit more going.
Right there is gone.
Damn, so you're 2,000 down.
I was trying to.
Hell yeah! Let's fucking go.
Jessica was dealing the other day, and I kept throwing my small blind into the middle, but instead of like throwing in the middle, I just kept nailing her hands somehow.
1,000 bankroll.
That's happened to me a few
That's what
times. You
just
know.
reminded me of.
Yeah,
1,000 bankroll. If you lose your
that's gonna
1,000,
happen
you're
from
out.
time to time. As long as your intention is to
And you
try and help
Holy.
every now and then,
I gave him a yellow.
you're gonna be a nuisance. All right.
So that's probably.
30 minutes left. Let's see if
Yeah.
we can
Oh, no, it fell. I'm sorry.
find some more interesting spots here.
You're purple. You gonna ask him the purple?
Nice try. Nice try.
9 folds.
Hell yeah, let's do that. Oh my god, I didn't know about that part.
Yeah, that's fun.
Robert with the real hand now.
Damn, that'd be the biggest
4
one.
raised to 65.
I don't think I can last.
But you can't get.
Mo?
it has to be
Oh,
Uh-oh.
with the nip button too.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he's
5 re-raise to 200.
No, absolutely 1-2 structure.
Yeah.
HV posturing.
What's he got?
Wow!
Yeah, just call.
8K plus whatever.
Ace suited. That yeah.
And wants to play it. Oh. And now, Robert, you get a great price.
It's like a sit and go.
Yes, but this is so sick that so if you sit down
Queen high,
and
safe.
you can take the first, you are
No,
guaranteed
not
to down.
terrible. Robert,
Check to...
over to the middle.
Wow!
I like the check by Mo. HV's definitely going to take this betting initiative.
Or you could win 1,000.
I don't think either of these players should fold to.
You lose your 1,000, but you.
Is the reason you like most check because you think HV will barrel
A lot.
more often than not? Yeah. Okay.
And versus 2 players, there's so many dicey turns. 5 is bad and 8 is bad. 9 gets there, 5, 8, 9 gets there. The queen's good, upset. A jack's bad, a king is bad, and 8 is bad. So now you're literally just stuck with cards that are 4 or less, and a 6. A 6 and maybe a 7.
You think it should be raising here now that we've gotten to this point? Or do you think you just flat?
I think it should raise would be fine here.
I think it's I prefer.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah. Once both players, you know HV's perfectly capable, and now you're really charging the top pairs. You're setting it up so that the turn bet is instead of 3 streets for a smaller amount, you get it in 2 streets.
And also, this looks kind of like a steal a little bit. I mean, it's hard to put in the queens. Yeah, this is a great play on the flop.
I like the play by Mo. HV's obviously done with ace high. This would be
It's going to be
incredibly
interesting to see
speculative. Your 8's looking versus HV's bet actually look incredibly strong. And they just shrivel up here now.
Of course.
Once this game is over.
Yeah.
Sees that he made the right fold. Yeah. Good line by Mo picking up the max in that hand.
Yeah, that was incredible. And again, with the knit button, it looks like it could have been a steal. So you're accomplishing so much by doing that.
I like
if you've got Tropicana behind you, it's a different scenario, right? But given that it was HV,
and HV's gonna stab him.
Yeah.
You know that there's extra money. They're so often. I do think Jackson is going to be checking a lot. So that's good balance by Mo in that too. Jackson's gonna play turns.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we say.
We get a new. Oh no, that's the. Okay.
In every dealer chain.
Somebody was walking around the stage. I didn't know if it was a new player or not.
ATM and Tish heads up in the knit game. I believe the stack's a little wrong. Tish, I believe, rebought for another 1,000. Not quite his evening tonight. HV also at the bottom of the leaderboard. We don't see that very often, but not one shy away from still trying to put more money in. Michael, after that first hand, has been a little quiet. Got out of the knit game real quick and then just kind of sitting there.
No reason to get involved if you don't have.
Watching fireworks.
I'm so excited.
Let's do it next week.
I'm so excited. For real. Man, I'm so excited at how fast I can lose all this money. Hell yeah!
I think they're talking about some sort of prop bet where the first player to lose 10K in the game gets something.
Get something?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's an interesting wrinkle. ATM. And who else was it? Oh, Tish.
Michael, I mean, the buddy knows the dynamic of the game. Immediately, I like it.
Monday, Thursday,
Picking up the dead money. No knit button players opening light.
Well, okay, so if we do that, then it's gonna.
We're going back to the pizza. Always plus EV.
This is what we were talking about earlier. Touch your cards, touch the pizza. The napkin ain't gonna
do much.
The 1-2 challenge. Yeah, you can't be late on that day.
Unless you guys started on 6 o'clock.
Well, he can still play. He just
Oh,
said,
I'm saying, that's
you
a
know, like,
disadvantage.
you late. I mean, good. No, he doesn't care, man.
Sounds like an interesting prop bet. I wonder what it could be about. Tish with the real hand.
You can't handle that.
Always feels good when your heads up in the net game. HV with a reeler hand.
Yeah, that sounds good.
ATM with also a real hand.
1-2 charge?
Maybe.
This is an interesting hand development. We have 2 nip players with real hands and HV with the reeler
You
hand.
could see a
And
conclusion to
Tish
it.
flops big.
Yeah, this is gonna end this Nick game.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he proceeds.
Oh yeah, Thanksgiving week.
I think checking back is okay. Betting is fine too. Charging the 2 higher hearts. I
think you
almost
need to
like
bet.
check.
I like that exact sizing. 150.
I like
is
the
what
super
would-
small bet.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh.
It's always hard to realize in real time, though, in spots like this, that what the best play to, like the sizing. But I love Tish's sizing on that.
I think 150 is
Yeah,
perfect.
150. You can just bet with a ton of hands for that sizing. Because a lot of people would be afraid, and they're really afraid of those overs, and they choose a larger sizing, you know, like pot. But no,
No reason to.
let them come along.
Right.
Let them come with worse.
Yeah, the math is in your favor there, so try and get him to put more money in.
And then whoever profit the most at the end, everybody pay him 500.
That's an interesting.
300.
Yeah. So maybe we can commentate this 1-2 stream.
I would love it.
The
Okay, I see.
they're talking about a prop bet between them where they all get on the 1-2 stream this Friday. Then whoever makes the most money on the stream gets paid $500 by each other person involved in the prop bet.
Just close your eyes.
That sounds spicy.
That's a spicy prop bet.
And then just go for it. Close your eyes and go for it.
You say close your eyes and just go for it.
3 players say POT again.
I feel like.
This is splash bar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, ATM getting his money back in this splash pot. It'd be hard not to.
Yeah. Diamond, I think, was one of the only.
Checking, hoping someone stabs at it. Mo thinking about it. But not. Someone's gonna need to catch a piece. That's.
You don't love that card. I mean, it doesn't. As
It doesn't
played,
change.
at play, it doesn't seem like anyone would
It
have
has
an
an
ace
ace,
here. But you still can't love to see that.
Now you're trying to bet and get called by King High, which is exactly what Robert has, and he does call.
Off the mat.
Good. ATM gets his.
Very shocking.
He gets his splash and a little bit extra.
A little extra cheese.
interest.
I almost back the thing.
I know. I saw you thinking, saw those gears turning in your head.
Something was wrong. Bad feeling.
Mo sniffed it out.
Huh?
Bad feeling.
Bad feeling?
Yeah. I didn't have bad feelings, unfortunately.
Are you really good about that? Trusting your gut in spots like
Generally, yes. Obviously, you're never going to be right all the time, but I feel like more often than not, whether it is a hero call or when to bluff, it just seems like
the gut is right more often than not.
Yeah. And the most tilting part is when you know and you do the opposite of what you wanted to do, and then 15 minutes later you're able to see that you should have gone with your gut. That's why it's just best not to even in game, not to even worry about what's going on. It can be problematic, but yeah, I think my instincts are usually pretty sharp.
HV out flopping the field. Bottom pair, no kicker. ATM's in there. Be an interesting spot for Tish to have turned his hand into a bluff.
What did he have? He had the other 5-6?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's the deuce of spades on the graphics. I think we saw the deuce of clubs. There we go. This another spicy spot for a check raise. Maybe fold out some 7s, 8s, 9s. Just calls with this additional equity. And gets there. No. No. There's no problem at all. This is a river I think you're going to have to lead. So many hands are going to check behind now that there's a flush and a 4-liner.
Especially given that it's these two, like, HP could definitely see this as him trying to take the pot away, but it's just so hard for him not to have made 2 pairs straight, flush, all of the above. I think HP is probably going to get away from this.
The 10 of clubs is a good one to have because ATM never has 10x of clubs here, but you just lose to a lot.
Yeah.
I don't really know what ATM would be turning into a bluff.
The only thing that I can think of is some 8 combination, like a jack 8, like that had a gut shot, you know, but like, wait, when has he ever continued? Yeah, I just think that you lose to way too much. Because most of the hands made 2 pair.
Yeah.
So
make something, yeah.
Right.
Toss him out.
Oh.
Here we go. I think we might.
No more Nick game for y'all.
Yeah.
Don't blame them. Stream's over as often as normal. So we normally get a couple players leaving, and then sometimes we get more players joining because the stream's over. Catman premium.
I think that's a premium just in general, man. But with him, yeah, that's a super premium. Nobody else seems to have anything. Like
10 high versus 8 high. Two pair for someone's going to be disaster for. Oh, nothing, nada. Catman with some good real backdoor possibilities, though.
It's going to be a case of who wants it more here.
It is.
7 bets 80.
I think Catman makes us 300 or he folds.
I could see them playing some next level street poker.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I could see the Catman 300, then HV calling, and then because they're incredibly deep.
Yeah. I've seen some wild ones between those two, and I think that's probably the best route to take. But it would not have surprised me to see him put in a raise there and then watch them click buttons.
9 and 6 spades in your mind are perfect pivot cards. Obviously, a pair wouldn't be terrible either. And I kind of miss that. And that's what Juicy does a lot that makes us miss him is the real street poker. HV does that a lot too.
For sure.
Free money for HV. Raise and take it. Players getting less active because the stream's going to be ending soon, but you never know because we've had lots of juicy ones. Juicy hands show up in the last couple hands of the stream before, and these players can certainly make that happen. Catman with 2 9s. Michael came to play. Middle pair versus over middle pair and nothing. Michael should bet when it checks though. Michael drawn a little thin. That's, of course, no help. Catman going for value versus exactly a 6. Knows where Michael's at. Michael makes a discipline lay down. Not a lot of bluffs Catman could have. I feel like these are the bluffs that people get away with the most, those where you, in theory, there aren't a lot of bluffs that they're supposed to have. And they're also not really big pots, so you just kind of dismiss them, you know. But it matters. You know, you steal 150 bucks here or there.
At the end of the session, all that adds up.
Just not happening.
Not happening.
Uh-oh.
Aces, the second appearance. See how they do this time.
Ace queen for Mo.
Oh, disaster. Going up. Catman.
Catman lets the 3s go. That's surprising.
See how ATM wants to play this.
I think you got a 4-bet here, yeah?
As deep as they are and as aggressive as Mo is, I want to narrow the range down and build a pot when he does have a hand.
If this 3-bet was like, if the hand had played differently and this 3-bet was closer to 500 or 600, there's an argument for flatting for sure. But given that it's only 250, I think that there's a lot of value here.
600, something around that line.
I think that's a great raise.
Oh yeah, 525 is perfect. Almost a click back. Mo's got an interesting decision because of ATM's stack size. Calling with basically a pot and a half behind isn't very exciting, even though the price is great.
It's not exciting, but I think you have enough hand here where, because you have 250 already out there, like this is enough hand. Obviously, you're out of position after the flop. You may actually let this go, but I think that you have enough hand to continue here. That's a great fold from him.
I think the sizing was a little too small. I don't mind like min clicks, but I think 600 a little bit, just something a little bit larger, so it looks less suspect.
But does it not? So that looks more suspicious to you? Because to me, it makes it harder for. Because now the SCR is actually.
So there are not a lot of hands that ATM would do that with. I don't think he would do it with Ace Queen offsuit. I think the sizing is just always going to be larger. Ace King, the sizing is still going to be a little bit larger because Mo's going to peel. If he had Ace Queen suited, he's going to peel.
Of course.
If he had King 10 suited, he's going to peel. So there's enough hands that are going to peel for the direct odds given the price that your other hands that need a little bit more protection are just always going to go larger.
So you like what, 700 a little bit better?
No, 6 to 7.
What did he make it? 525?
525, just a little bit.
That little bit of difference makes a big difference to you. Okay,
it
interesting.
Does. I also, because there's also a little bit more money for Mo to consider 5-betting with.
We've got a set here. Nobody has an ace, unfortunately.
ATM going through a heater. Ace is now set.
Let's see if he can find a way to. No, it looks like he's going to lead out, which is going to get rid of everyone else. But
yeah,
it would have been interesting to see if
Queen High would have taken a shot. I do think the 3 and 4-bet and 5-bet dynamics with those hands are really cool because I don't think his sizing is wrong. There's an argument for each layer. Super big, super small, right in the middle. It all comes down to what you're trying to get Mo to do. Do you want him to call? Do you want to try and induce him? I mean, if you just want him to call always, then you can just choose the absolute minimum. The 5, well, not the absolute minimum, but basically just click it.
But that's also the scariest size, right? If you're Mo. It looks so big. Like such a big hand.
43. One fold, two folds. And he goes -4.
This game was supposed to go over.
5 raises to 60.
I mean, Philadelphia's defense. Absolutely.
Tropicana in the straddle. ATM folds too in the extra straddle.
Every Thursday I
It always hurts me when I'm in the straddle and I have to fold king 4 suited.
You don't have to fold ever.
When you have Tropicana stack size, you kind of do.
That's fair. What was it? 80? They made it?
60.
Okay. I think you can.
He's got 10 in there. Not, he wasn't a double, so he's only got 10. 50 more.
Like the Oklahoma Missouri game. He scored 2 fumble recoveries.
Catman's still the big winner tonight. Up almost as much as Tish is down, unfortunately. HV, the second biggest loser. Followed by Tropicana. A-Team and Michael really, that could, and Robert, all those numbers could change in one hand on or off stream.
There must be something wrong with this one.
Tish with a suited wheel ace. Perfectly fine open.
Tropicana with king jack suited, so this could.
Oh, yep.
He may choose to. No.
I like bumping it up. With his stack size, he's kind of protected.
The problem is if you get shoved on, what are you gonna do? And I don't.
I think his stack size helps him with that because if he had 1,000 or 1,500, Tish can think about doing something different.
And he just crushes his
yeah,
flop.
and then just crushes his flop.
And Tish, did he fold free?
Yeah, ace deuce with Tropicana stack size is terrible. Catman wants to gamble. I like the bet sizing by Tropicana. Really trying to make sure he gets his stack in.
You don't think a check is?
I think a check's fine.
Yeah.
I think check or bet. A check looks incredibly suspicious because Tropicana is a balanced player. He's going to be betting this.
That's a good point.
Although on that flop, it's incredibly hard to get called, which is mainly your biggest argument for checking because the Catman's hand looks a lot like a pair or some sort of suited connector. No flush draw, and King Jack 7 Rainbow is not going to connect with a lot of those connectors. So, not a whole lot of turns. Even the straightening turns, like a 10 Queen or an Ace, I'm not even worried about them that often.
I believe this is the. This is gonna.
Yeah, we've got word. This will be our last hand. Tish is waking up with 9s. Tropicana waking up with queens. We might have a collision.
I think it's going to be hard not to
at least see a flop. The price is okay. Set money price isn't quite right. So you could fold. You could.
If he just flats, Catman may come along as well.
No.
Nope, he's gonna get rid of it, and we're gonna go to a flop.
Top set for Tropicana after top 2 pair. Tish is not gonna have Ace King very often, so this is a flop I would have loved to see Tropicana check.
Of course, yeah.
Tish is gonna have Ace Queen and King Queen a lot, but you block those.
He is gonna get a call though.
Yeah. And
it's kind of a bad turn for Tish. I mean, it seems like.
I think it's a turn that favors Tish, but Tropicana should check with his exact hand because there's not a lot of top pairs left out there. And if Tish has a hand like he has exactly, you want him to catch up.
Now, why do you think that's a good turn for Tish? Because I think that what I mean by that is given Troy's hand, you almost want to get away from the hand at this point, and this makes it less likely that he's going to be able to get away if it goes check, and then Tropicana leaves river. But let's see how this runs out. See now.
9s is like when you bet with Tropicana stack. When he bets the turn, he's not folding. There's no hand he's betting for value on the turn he's folding.
Yeah, obviously the 10's a great turn for him if Troy has.
No, but Tish is gonna have more 10s. Tropicana is gonna have almost no 10s, other than 2 10s. I like this incredibly small bet on the river. I like it a lot.
It's gonna be
really
hard
targeting,
not to call here.
Yeah, really targeting Tish's hand, kind of pegging it right on the.
Right, and that's what I mean by that being a bad turn is that if you get this run out after the check on the turn, you're almost tricked into believing that you have the best hand a lot of the time. And
really, it's not about trying. It's really when you're checking the turn and he just checks behind, you just hope he hits his full house. That's but Tish ends up calling. Tropicana shows him the bad news.
Well, it took Troy 4 hours, but he finally made a hand.
Good pickup on him. unfortunate, but Tish runs into it. So thank y'all for everybody who joined us tonight. It was a fantastic stream. On behalf of my partner Alex in the booth, it's DT signing off. We bid you adieu. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.